Welcome to the Mad Ones. I'm your Lord the World is a Depressing Place host, Cam Harless. And with me, as always, is your hopefully she brought some good news with her, hostess, Miss Jessica Green.
How
you doing, Jessica?
I did. I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking.
Good.
And the second thing is that I actually did spend some time looking up good news today because I knew that we were going to have a show about it. And I found out that there was an overwhelming tidal wave of good news. They just don't report on it. That sucks. But I'm going to tell you guys some resources you can follow today where you don't follow mainstream media sources. You actually follow good news resources that the only thing they post on those websites are positive news stories, which I think would be a better thing to hit in the morning than even the local news channel.
Right.
Your life would be improved for sure.
So it's the last of the month. And so what we like to do at the last of the month is have our buddy on, have a friend on, chat, talk about different things, not necessarily deep topics, because everyone needs to decompress every now and then. So that's what we're going to do today. But before we get started, I wanted to let you know, as you already do if you're watching this, probably, unless you're new, which I welcome. The show is 100% brought to you by the fans and patrons. So hit like, subscribe, share the show with your friends. We've got all sorts of topics we've covered in the past. We have some cool stuff in the future. One of them is going to be a guy who's currently trying to break up a cult. And in order to do that, he called in a threat to a certain politician, and we're going to talk to him next month. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So share them with someone who might gain something from them. Also, join our Patreon for the occasional early episode, Zoom hangout, and my eternal gratitude. You can hit up patreon.com/themadOnes and grab a shirt or a mug over at wearethemadOnes.com/store to rep us. I will say I have tentatively set up a Zoom hangout where we can play games for Saturday. So if anyone wants to join that, join the Patreon. But we know why you're really here. It's not for me. It's not for not for her. You're used to us. Joining us right now is the Eliminator of the Illuminati, the Bane of Bohemian Grove, the Batterer of Bernays, the Piss and Vinegar of the Propaganda Report, a good friend, a handsome boy, an irreplaceable lover, and the most dapper man in a black tank, though he's not wearing one, and my heart is broken. Also the funniest guy in Atlanta, Mr. Brad Binkley.
This is a modified tank top. It's all I could find before the show. I searched, and I think it's in the wash. So I'll have to really make sure I have the black tank top ready before the next show, because I, too, am disappointed in myself for not being prepared. Your intro was very interesting, by the way. Some of the things in there.
So much?
No, it's just a handsome boy. That was nice. An amazing lover or whatever it was. I love it.
Yeah. Verklempt about it. I appreciate, Brad, though, that I did have tickets to the gun show and you made good. So
that's right. I did like 20, 30 push-ups for the show just to make sure, pump it up a little bit.
Got pumped up.
I got some filters on the camera.
Yep. Full of protein. Got his
Totally.
pump on. Yeah.
Right, yeah. I weigh like 160 pounds, so I have to pump up.
Right.
Man, it would be nice if I weighed closer to that. Just a little bit closer. So I'm a big guy. I'm not a super tall guy. I'm about 5'11", but I'm a very hefty man. And so when I lost weight, so I was at like 230-ish when I was younger, and I lost like 30 pounds within like a month and a half, 2 months. Just dropped it all. Gone. And then I got down to 180.
What did you do to lose all the weight?
I don't have any idea.
No idea.
I couldn't tell you. Couldn't repeat it. But I got down to like 189. And I'm built as a big guy. Like, people say they're big boned. And I'm not saying I'm big boned, but I do have a big head. So when I hit that weight, my head was like, and my body was like, boop.
It didn't match, you're saying, yeah.
It did not. I looked like I was floating around. I looked like I could have been a cast member of the movie Up. Could have played one of the balloons.
Yeah. Very nice, yeah.
So since it's like a end of the month show, of course, we want to get to some good news. We just want to talk. I mean, we've had a lot of stuff happen over the last month, but the added bonus, and I'll let you guys decide if I do this or not. I'm sure Jessica is going to cackle. I got two things. I've got Mountain Dew, Flamin' Hot, that I may test out on
Flaming
here.
hot. That's a new
Yeah.
flavor?
Yeah.
Is it like spicy? Was it like a chicken wing sauce challenge?
We don't know yet.
I don't know. I'll let you know. Figured I'd try
Have you
that.
seen that chip that people eat on TikTok? Like teenagers eat it. The one that comes in a box. It might be those. Might be like those. The ones I've seen come in like a red box, and you open it up, and then you just like kill yourself with it.
Right. So that's made by Packy, which I also have these. These are the ghost pepper chips. But I think those may be Carolina Reaper chips that they sell the one chip challenge with. But those are surprisingly expensive. Like,
Wow,
it's
so you have to
single
pay a
chip.
lot to torture yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was like not much. But I figured ghost peppers. The last time I ate ghost peppers, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I got their ghost pepper sauce, and the lady brought it up to me with a mask on her face, wearing gloves, gave me gloves to eat them.
Oh, so you don't put it in your eyes.
I suppose. And so I got them, and then I got some of like the sweet barbecue or whatever it is, because you got to balance some stuff out. I can tell you with ghost pepper, and this is a torturous thing I'm going to do to myself, is it burns and hurts 3 times.
It's advertised to do that, right? But you're saying 3 separate times that
3 in 3 ways. So
we're gonna get a little
Is it a cycle?
disgusting here.
well, I won't. Not too disgusting. So one is the eating, obviously, very hot, and then it hits your stomach, and it turned my stomach sour. And just like, I mean, it was, of course, it was just not happy, sour stomach. And then the next day happened.
Yeah.
And I won't go into too much detail, but I did have to crank up Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire while I was taking care of that issue.
Right. Well, so it was as advertised, you're saying.
Yes,
it probably says
exactly.
all of those things on the back of the package.
So wait a minute. And
Never
so
understood that.
to my understanding, you pick specific music to take a shit to. Is that what I'm understanding?
I think that was the implication.
Like, and
well,
have you ever used
because
the
of-
Imperial March from Star Wars?
Well, I Ring of Fire because I had a Ring of Fire.
Right. But I also think the Darth
well-
Vader theme from Star Wars would be appropriate for the setting. Just spitballing.
Next time you
all
do the challenge, is some other music ideas.
Right.
Well,
Just
I wish I could play
mix it
music
up.
on here because I would turn that on and eat these. But,
we would definitely get a copyright strike for doing.
oh no,
something so
100%,
sordid. Right.
100%.
So the Pocky Carolina Reaper Madness One Chip Challenge tortilla chip is $25 on Amazon if you guys are interested. It's
I am not.
Carolina
One chip.
Reaper One Chip. No.
$25.
It's
And
just,
really, to hurt yourself, it's a lot of money to pay to hurt yourself.
and that's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just I never understood that. I don't like spicy stuff because I'm just like, people will be like, "Oh, you don't want to eat spicy stuff." I'm like, it's not fun to eat spicy. It ruins the meal if I'm trying to force myself to eat stuff that's just going to make me feel like trash
Right.
and give me indigestion. I don't want to eat it. And we used to have these. The music revolution is even more disturbing. Yes, it is. They had these challenges at my college where they put the hot sauce into a shot glass, and if you could take a whole shot, or I think it was like a contest. There was a contest, and if you could take a whole shot, and you get a T-shirt, and
That's an
a lot of people
expensive
couldn't do it,
t-shirt.
but it's not worth the T-shirt. It's really
No,
not.
it's not.
Everybody I know who did it was like, "Oh man, for the next week, I felt like hell. It was horrible."
And this is when you're 18 and your digestive system is still limber and springy. It
Yeah,
doesn't
you just
feel
want
that
to
way.
fucking fuck it up with this shot.
When you
I am not as
kids-
young as I was when I ate those wings.
Yeah, kids, listen to me. Enjoy the hot and spicy stuff while you can.
Hey, don't let anybody shame you into it either if you don't want to do it. So it's perfectly okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh dear. So Cam's gonna do that just for fun because he doesn't have enough problems. So
I like to bring value and professionalism to our show,
Yeah.
and this is the easiest way to do it.
You're like a product tester in that, right, for these chips.
So,
So
should I do
you're
this
nearby-
up front, or should I
well, the
wait?
thing is that you should have that hot Mountain Dew, that spicy Mountain Dew as your drink, then
Yeah.
you need to take a drink after drinking the chip. Don't
Right.
drink the Dew first.
While eating super hot wings. with
Make
the
that
chips.
make that your chaser for your Pocky chip.
Yeah, no water. No water's allowed, or you're just a big pussy. That's how it's gonna
Yeah,
work.
that's how this is really a challenge.
Okay, so this smells like orange.
All
Does
right.
it have like a hint of lime?
It just has a blast of heat and citrus.
Yeah,
It smells like orange.
it's like when you put the I don't know how often you eat mango or papaya, but you put lime juice and seasoning, like a spicy seasoning on the top of it. Did you drink it?
He did. He took
Yeah.
a sip.
Oh.
very mild, very like
What, like pepper or like
Like
it-
a
well,
Bloody
it just-
Mary or
it
what?
kind of tastes just like orange, like an orange soda.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not spicy. I mean, you can tell there's a little bit of the capsaicin in
You,
it. But
you
I mean,
seem
that's it.
disappointed that you're not in pain right now.
Yeah.
You should write the company. Your product doesn't make me suffer like it promises that it would. I
Dear
actually
Mountain
enjoyed it. Give me my money back.
Dear Mountain Dew,
All right.
I hate you.
Oh, here you're going with the chips now. Maybe you should hold your one hand over a hot flame while you're doing it too. You got a lighter.
while walking across hot coals, and then someone pokes you with a pencil.
They do smell hot. Should I do this now or should I wait?
I mean, you already did the Mountain Dew, and
Yeah.
we got a big fat nothing out of that.
Yeah,
so.
it was. That was
Yeah, you enjoyed
extremely
that too
boring.
much.
I think my favorite reaction lately was on the DPP on Friday.
What when we were getting each other to look at the most disgusting websites ever and looking at each other's reactions to them.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh dear. I fear the lack of the female presence in this mix.
No, you know what? There was a lack of female presence in that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I could tell by the story. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there were no chicks there. 'Cause
yeah, that's right.
That's
That's exactly right. Yeah, yeah.
Is that your second chip?
Eat
Yeah.
the whole bag. That's just a
Weak.
small bag.
That's weak
It's
sauce.
a small bag. Come on, just put them in. Pour them in.
Look, it says that they're freaking hot.
It's got that little radar on the
all
end
the way
there.
to the red.
Yeah, it doesn't go any further.
Is this because of is it like an inflation problem that they
Yeah,
can't
the,
afford
the,
too much
building.
spice?
the
It's
real
building.
spices can't get shipped over. It's like the chip
Right.
shortage.
It's building.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not an
Okay.
instant impact.
No,
It's
not
like
at
a
all.
lingering effect.
Yeah. Okay.
If you start
Okay.
turning red during the middle of the show.
And then you'll have a 24 to 48 hour impact later.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's uncomfy.
Is it the chips or the drink following the chips?
No, the chips. The drink is like. It's an orange soda.
You're gonna have to document your experience if it gets progressively worse after the show is over.
Well, I mean, it's getting worse in my
As
mouth
the show's
as
going
we
on right
speak.
now. Yeah.
Yes.
Last
So
time
that's
he
fun.
just ate something on the show for fun, which was those edibles. And by the end of the show, he was too stoned to work the buttons.
Oh my
So I had
gosh.
to, and he had not taught me how to work the buttons. I just work here.
That's
And
funny.
but he has taught me since how to work the buttons. So Cam, if you end up needing to go to the emergency room because you ate
Yeah.
something stupid, I can push the button.
We will carry on. Well, they
Yeah.
fire, put a hose on your
It
insides.
does look
Cool you off.
uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable, but it's not like you'd think it would be up front because like the wings were up front. So I don't know if it had like to like dissolve with the powder or whatever's
Yeah.
on the chips or what.
I think maybe they're teaching a lesson for people who put it in and they're like, oh, this is nothing. And then they eat another one. And they say, you're going to learn not to do that the next time. Take it one hot chip at a time. But you
Maybe
can write a
it's-
letter, though, to them telling them, I loved your product. It put me in all sorts of pain.
it tastes good though.
So is it a type of like which one is it? Sadism is you
I
like
was, yeah.
pain, and then
Masochism.
masochism.
It's like when Catholics, they whip themselves for having bad thoughts.
Right. Those guys are fun. The
Yeah.
oh shit, they have a name. Yeah, poor Cam. Cam knows the name. He just can't get it out. Who were the guys with the whips?
With what like the ascetics?
No,
It's like in a
ascetic is the
Dan
monk.
Brown movie.
Oh, I never
Yeah,
watched.
they whip
that.
themselves.
Well,
Maybe
they've been
someone in the
in-
chat knows. Because I'm not going to Google who are the guys that whip themselves.
I feel like Cam is barely holding it together right now.
Because I'm not going to get the answer that I want.
All right.
Yeah, when you ask who the guys are who whip themselves. Yeah,
Flagellants.
yeah that's
Flagellant.
yeah,
That's
it's
correct.
like the non-Catholic version of that. Is you
Yeah.
eat these super hot chips.
Yeah, I'm a Christian aesthetic.
Yeah,
So
This is the way
back
Protestants do that.
that is your whip. The chip is your whip.
during the Black Plague days, these dudes took it upon themselves to walk from town to town, whipping themselves bloody, because there's nothing that helps a massive virus or whatever it was along more than walking from town to town, spraying your blood matter all over the place. Like, it really seemed like it worked out well.
Right. Yeah. That's how you save people.
Opus Dei. Yeah, okay. That was the group in the Dan Brown book.
Yeah. What was that
Opus
called again?
Dei.
There's a couple of them. A couple Dan
Oh,
Brown books.
It had Nicolas Cage in it. It was not
Was
good.
Nicolas Cage
The
in
Da
that
Vinci
movie?
Code.
Yeah, the Da Vinci Code. That's one of them. There's
No,
a
it was-
show
No,
that
it was
came on
Tom
recently.
Hanks. Wait, I'm sorry. It was Tom Hanks, but his hairline had
Yeah.
receded to
It
where
looked like-
Nicolas Cage's hairline was at the time,
Yeah.
and that's why I conflate them.
Yeah, that is. I don't know that I've heard that conflation before. I would love to see. I have not seen it yet.
Side by side.
Nicolas Cage. Yeah, side by side. And I want to see Nicolas Cage's new movie that's about Nicolas Cage. It's not a documentary. It's
What's
just a
it
movie.
called? I remember that it was the
Some Burton with talent or some weird name like that. But I think Nicolas Cage is awesome because he's just crazy in everything he does.
My friend has a really big crush on him, and that's interesting because she's the only one I've ever heard of that
The
has like a big sex thing for Nicolas.
For Nicolas Cage, yeah.
Yeah, get out
He's
of
crazy.
town.
He's wild. If you look at some of the Nicolas Cage memes, like he's a lunatic.
He at first
The-
did not. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I
Oh,
want to check that
God.
out. I heard it was his best movie.
In the past, when there have been internet memes and things about him that have arisen, he hasn't taken it well, and he seems to get like a little offended, and that's been kind of the funny part. So maybe at some point his publicist came to him and said, "Hey,
Oh,
maybe you should
God,
lean
yeah.
into this a little
He
bit."
totally
'cause-
should.
right.
Like Face
So-
Off, The Rock, what Con Air is like the best movie. It's so stupid
Oh, I
and
love
awesome.
Con Air.
And he's got that long hair that he's just
Yes.
like he talks like a redneck in it. It's awesome. He's like a terrible
is-
redneck in it.
Both the best and worst Southern accent I've ever heard a guy do on film
Yeah.
before,
I
and
don't
I feel
remember.
like
Yeah, it's awesome.
it's bad. Yeah. Now the worst, the absolute worst Southern accent ever to be filmed was the chick who played in True Blood,
Oh,
I never watched that.
Suki.
Sookie. She played
Suki.
the chick who played Rogue in the original X-Men. Played her.
She was trying to do the Louisiana Southern accent, and it got all twisted and messed up in that show.
It was bad.
Look at Cam. Are you okay, dude? Look at his.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're
I just
hurting
figured,
right
what-
now, aren't you?
I just no, it's subsiding, but I'm just like, if let's make sure that there's not dripping things from my face. Let's just
Yeah.
keep
See,
that
this
out.
is why I don't engage in these challenges right here. I know. So you're withstanding it for the, I'm not sure what for the show and for the other people who
know-
might have been on the fence about maybe. What I don't know is your experience with this chip. Is this going to make other people who are debating whether or not to take the challenge? Is this going to make them want to do it because they see how you're feeling, or is this going to make them say, no, I don't want to do it? I think it would make them say, you know what, I can do it, and it won't affect me as much.
Well, I mean, okay, so it did get worse, but it's not the hottest thing I've ever had by a stretch.
Do tell.
I mean, those other wings I told you about,
Oh,
much
okay.
hotter. But I mean, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
I'm better now. I mean, that wasn't.
It's
too
fine.
long.
It's fine. My insides are burning,
Whatever.
but it's fine. I'm okay.
You're not legally responsible if you emulate any of Cam's behaviors on this program.
Yes, thank you.
true.
That's very good.
That's true.
Also, me and my husband, we do movie marathons all the time. We pick an actor. We did like an entire Steven Seagal marathon recently.
Oh,
So-
yeah?
so
Oh, you
we're
mean
gonna
the guy who Putin loves? Putin's
No.
best friend?
Steven Seagal is everyone's best friend, and they would just do better to recognize that.
Yeah.
If you ever want an awesome deep dive on a true Hollywood story, like a true Hollywood life story, Steven Seagal has the weirdest life story you've ever heard in your life. If you think his movies are weird, it is nothing compared to this guy's actual like living human life that he's doing right now. Secondly, for this Nicolas Cage marathon, I get 5 movies. What are the 5 movies I need to put on my Nicolas Cage marathon list? Go.
I got to pull up Face Off. If you haven't seen Face Off, I'm going to say the ones that he acts the craziest in.
Oh, Wicker Man.
Wicker Man. I have not seen Wicker Man.
Do you know that Nicolas Cage was going to play Superman at one point?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. He
With
was.
what's the guy's name? The one who did the Gothic director.
Oh, the guy who did the
Burton.
Johnny Depp movies, Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, Tim Burton was going
Burton.
to do
That's
a
right.
Superman movie. They even did
With
a fitting
Nicolas
for the
Cage?
costume. Yeah, they even did a
Why
fitting
did
for
we
the costume.
get this movie? I want to go to the alternative reality where Nicolas Cage is Superman in a movie made by Tim Burton right now.
All right, well, I'm gonna try and show you the an image of Nicolas Cage as Superman.
I've got one.
Do you have one pulled up? Yeah, pull one up. They did a screen test, like they were about to make the movie, and I wish they would have made it. I just wish
I'm
they would
so
have made it.
upset I didn't get this movie.
His wife is like 30 years, maybe. Yeah, I think she might be younger than that.
Boo. Weird.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's him. That's the one.
God, I have to print screen.
I know that because like years ago, somebody was trying to get me to do a parody of that when my hair was long, and because I got big eyes like him, and they were trying to get me to be in this Nicolas Cage parody.
How is print screen is how you screenshot the screen, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could just send you the link though.
Okay, send me the link. 'Cause I have somebody I immediately need to send this to. Oh my God, look at that thing.
You gonna
Why
send
does
that
it
to your
have-
friend who's all into Nick
Yes.
Cage?
Yes, he has a huge lady boner for Nicolas Cage. and
Yeah, it's awesome.
Believe that. I'm not
I'll
going
be
to
honest,
deny it. Either.
Lady boners sound terrifying.
All right, leaving
they
Las
are.
Vegas is one to put on your list. You got some in the chats too. People are.
Leaving. Oh, okay. Leaving Las Vegas. That's with Robin.
yeah, He says,
Right.
yeah.
Raising Arizona.
I have
Gone in
not
60
seen that one.
seconds.
Yeah,
Night
I've gotten.
Shift.
I see that MK Ultra says, "Yo, that's Brad for sure." I've gotten that in a lot in the past about Nicolas Cage, and yeah, especially the Superman one. They want to be.
It's
Face Off.
yeah. Face Off's number one.
Got that one.
Vampire's
Oh.
Kiss.
Oh, what's it? Matchstick Men. Now he does like good acting, but he plays an OCD person, and he's just like fucking insane. It's
Like,
awesome.
Playing himself essentially, and so the character comes off. As
It's so good. It's great. I love that movie.
Matchstick Men is one of my husband's favorite movies.
Really? Yeah, it's a good
tell
movie. It's
him.
got Sam Rockwell. I haven't seen The Wicker Man. I see a lot of Wicker Man in there.
Yeah,
Raising Arizona. That's a good one.
Vampire's Kiss.
A Vampire's Kiss. Okay. That
I
sounds
don't know,
god
yeah.
awful.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
That
find
looks
myself.
like even the screenshot from Vampire's Kiss. He looks like a fucking lunatic. It's so it's crazy.
He needs to lean in.
Oh, well, that one's one I just want to see. There's a newer one called Pig that I want to watch.
Okay. With Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
Boy be working.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's made a lot of horror movies.
Cam, put that picture in that I just shared with you.
It's just fucking weird. That's why.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's Vampire's Kiss screenshot right there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And that one, that Mandy's got to be good. He's got like I don't know what Mandy's about, but
Mandy is a wild movie.
He was also in Color Out of Space. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was a Cronenberg that they made. And it was weird, like you would imagine a Cronenberg to be. But he he's an odd guy. He's highly entertaining though. Okay.
What's that race car movie he was in? Not race car.
Gone in 60
That's
seconds.
right, Gone in 60 Seconds. That's right.
Mhm.
Right. Oh man, I wish I think there was actually a documentary about the Superman, Nicolas Cage Superman.
Yeah,
movie.
there was.
So
Because someone knew that story needed to be told, even if it wasn't a Superman movie.
It's just can you imagine like just contrasting him with the current or any Superman really that we've ever had? It's just he would be great. He would be so great, and he'd be the most insane Superman that we have ever had.
well, say what you will about Nicolas Cage. I don't think he's the best actor out there. He did win an Oscar, so he has some talent.
What did he win an Oscar for?
Raising Arizona, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like one of his first movies. Well,
Okay.
he's got a quality where he's just insane. Everything he
Well, no,
does, and
He
that's
commits.
Right. Absolutely. That's exactly what he does.
Like
100%.
hardcore.
He goes there. Yeah, there's no doubting his commitment. Unless he's playing, there's a couple movies he's in that, there's one movie where it's like a Christmas movie he's in. He named his son. Did he really?
Yeah, his son is named Kal-El.
No way. That's great. God, I like him even more.
Oh, here's a fun thing. So yesterday I watched a clip from a show called Love on the Spectrum. And it's a show on Netflix about people who are autistic finding love. And so I thought, obviously, there's a joke here, right? And so I went on Twitter and I tweeted the poster, and I said, I'm so happy that Netflix finally co-produced a dating show with the members of the Libertarian Party. It's an autism joke.
Zinger.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is a lot of people who saw this tweet they looked at the picture but didn't pay attention to the Love on the Spectrum thing, and they thought that this was a little kid holding an adult hand. So there are all of these replies that like I'm not making the connection for because I know what this is. You know what I mean? Like it's hard not to. And then this morning, someone tweeted at me something about pedos, and I was like, "What?" And then I looked at it again, and I was like, "Oh, they think it's a little kid." So this is like a double joke. It's a double whammy, and I'm very happy with that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because like I got this one, King of the Libertarians with a drag queen story hour, and I was like, I don't know why that's being posted. I don't get that, but I get
that
it
is
now.
just funny. Yes.
But there was the funniest thing where people that were like, "You misspelled Democrats," and I didn't understand why they were mad. I didn't understand. I was like, "It's just an autism joke. Give me a break." But they thought I was calling libertarians pedophiles, and they were trying to slough it off onto the Democrats. Amazing.
That's
thank you
awesome.
for
That is
that.
amazing. It's great. You're getting some great recommendations here in
Amazing.
the chats too. Some Nick Cage that we missed. Moonstruck. This and somebody relates to you, Jessica, saying that he had a buddy crediting watching Existence for getting him laid. Is that? I guess that's a Nick Cage that had a weird turn on for the girl.
Huh. Interesting.
Leaving all Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's the one that
If you extrapolate that means there's like 1 million women out there who really have the hots for Nicolas Cage that like the world just doesn't know about because they're intermixed with the regular population.
Yeah, and I think that what Cam said is a part of that attraction is the commitment. Is because when you go all the way on something, there's an appreciation to that wild level of commitment to something, and that might be part of that.
I think there's something to that. We were talking, a friend, actually, incidentally, the friend who's got it for Nicolas Cage, about women being attracted to dangerous men. Like, who was the big drug dealer from Colombia? What was that dude's name?
Pablo Escobar.
Like that guy had a wife, right? Like,
and she wasn't bad looking either.
Who was the woman who was like, yeah, I'm totally gonna bang Pablo Escobar. And we were discussing why you would be attracted to a dangerous man. And it's like, yeah, he could kill anybody at any minute, but he doesn't kill me. You know, like there's like a you feel
there's
special.
A prestige to it also.
Right.
And she ended up becoming like running his operation or something after he got in prison.
Was she really good
something
for
like
her?
That. Yeah,
That's
no.
feminism.
Okay? Yes, exactly. Equality, putting a woman in leadership.
That's right.
Progressive.
I support Mrs. Escobar in her efforts to deal.
I stand with Miss Escobar.
Yeah, her efforts to run cocaine through the CIA.
Brad, am I allowed to stand with Miss Escobar as well as Ukraine at the same time, or do I have to choose?
I think that you can always stand with Ukraine. I think that that's just a requirement for, at this point, living, really, is standing with Ukraine. So you can rope in Miss Escobar as long as you frame it in the correct way. That's what everything is about. It's the proper framing.
Yes.
Do we know Mrs. Escobar's position on Ukraine?
She could love it.
Like, if she loves the Ukraine, then we're golden.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. They'd probably let her husband out of prison if he stood with Ukraine. If he
dude is dead.
Yeah,
he's the deadest dead dude that ever died.
Is he dead? Is he really dead?
He's
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's roll dead. There's so many pictures of it.
Yeah, it makes me think of that show Weeds. You guys ever watch that?
Yes. Weeds is
I
awesome.
watched it.
The first
I watched
5 seasons.
I
Yeah,
watched
it gets
Weeds
weird, though.
until the toe thing, and then I was done.
Yeah, they start to get a little jump the shark a little bit.
Right. Yeah,
I
no,
started watching Shameless. I watched one episode of Shameless the other day,
that
and it
show's
made
really
me
good.
so sad.
Oh no. Do you not come from the trailer park, Cam?
I don't come from the trailer park, but
Hmm.
I do understand like fractured relationships and wanting to please parents and crap like that, even though you're not, you know what I mean? Like I got it too
Right.
well, I think. Made me
Okay.
sad on that level.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
It's actually a
sorry.
really good show. And what's her name? The main chick in that show was on Broadway
Emmy Rossum.
as the main in Phantom of the Opera for years. So, it's weird that she was then this weird, trailer park queen in Shameless. It's kind of like you go from the main chick in Phantom of the Opera right down to the trailer park. Like, what happened? Who didn't you sleep with?
Yeah, isn't that girl in it's that Netflix show where like the only quality it has is it will make you more depressed. That's got God, I don't know. My mind just went blank on everybody who's in that show. Jason Bateman.
Ozark. I knew you were
Ozark.
talking about Ozark when you
Yes.
said it will only make you more depressed.
Yes,
I was
nothing.
Like, that's Ozark.
Everything about that show is like, why am I watching this? This show just
Yeah.
makes you feel dreary and like everything sucks. It's like the worst. It's like the worst show that you can't stop watching. They should advertise it as that. And I think isn't that girl the blonde, the fiery one who talks like this all the time? Isn't she British? I think she definitely doesn't talk like that. I know she does a bunch of impersonations. I think she might be British.
She's also, I don't know if she's British or not, but she's also in that show Inventing Anna.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is a weird juxtaposition to see this actress playing such different roles. And she really seems to take on the other role believably. I don't see that little trailer park girl. I see
Right.
this other character.
So she's
good
she's
for her.
a good actress. Like I saw her do an interview and her voice I was like, is that her? So she's like not even close to the redneck that she plays, which means she's a good actress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Unlike what's her name? Sookie Stardust in True Blood.
Right. She is really that was so I used to watch True Blood.
Anna Paquin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the con artist, Anna Paquin.
No,
Or is
that's
that the girl's
Paquin.
name? Or is that the
Rogue.
actress's name?
No, that's
That's
the
actually-
actress who played Sookie in True Blood.
Yeah.
Also Rogue in X-Men. Yeah.
So I used to watch True Blood when it was out with my girlfriend at the time, and there was this one Thanksgiving that we all went over to a friend of mine's house. It was a gay guy, and it was at the end of the night. It ended up he invited. Apparently, they had this weekly ritual where they would invite other friends over, and they would watch True Blood together. So it was me and like 12 gay guys and my girlfriend.
So I
And-
watched True Blood with a group of gay guys as well.
Yeah.
I think gay men were the primary audience.
I
of
think
True
they
Blood.
loved it. So I'm watching it, and these guys are taking their shirts off, and this room full of dudes is just going titty. I mean, they're just going crazy. It was
was like-
hilarious, but
The Girls Gone Wild videos, but for gay guys.
right, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So Elephant Man asked, "What's a show that you couldn't go to bed binging?" And he said his was Breaking Bad, which I understand because the first time I watched Breaking Bad, I would intersperse it with episodes of Parks and Recreation so that I could get out of the little dark moments because Walter White was the bad guy the whole time, and people
Yeah.
don't seem to know that.
Oh yeah, Walter's a piece of shit. Sorry.
He didn't go bad; he was waiting for his moment to go bad.
Right.
He just needed a reason.
Yeah.
God was trying to give him that cancer before he turned into a truly awful man
Right.
and could still go to heaven.
And Jesse
But-
was okay, and Walter just fucked up his
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I the things that bother I can watch that stuff before I go to bed. The things that bother me that I have to watch something else is like if I watch like a something spooky, something that makes me ghost related or afterlife
Ghosts.
related. Yeah.
I
Yeah, I'll have to
cannot
watch
do
something
ghosts
else.
before I go to bed. Because if
Yeah.
I have to go to the bathroom, I have to lay there in terror until, nature forces me. I can't like walk through the dark room.
Yeah.
I really don't think there's something that I can't watch before bed, but I will tell you, one of the most vivid nightmares I've ever had was after I watched what's the name of that movie? With the one with Kurt Russell. It's a Western horror.
Oh, Bone Tomahawk.
Bone
Ugh.
Tomahawk.
Ugh.
Oh, that went into my brain. It's
Never
an
again.
incredible movie.
What is that?
It's really good, but you
It's
only
an
need one.
Yeah.
It's an incredible movie. I've seen it twice.
It's Kurt Russell. It's pretty recent. It's called Bone Tomahawk. It's a Western and a horror, and it is done incredibly well.
Yeah.
But you only need one pass. After
Kurt
that
Russell,
one pass, yeah.
He's played in westerns. He's so good in westerns. He's played in them his
Great.
entire life. If you watch these old Gunsmoke episodes from like the 60s, or maybe even, no, he's probably not that old, but he's like a kid in these Gunsmoke episodes, like a child in them.
Yeah.
I remember watching my parents going, "Is that Kurt Russell? Is it like a child?" And they're like, "Yeah."
Man.
He was also
that-
in Stargate, the original Stargate.
Right?
movie.
Yeah.
So Bone Tomahawk is a movie. It's a Western movie about a man whose wife is stolen by savages. And I'm not saying that in the way of being like any band of Indians, like true savages. And so he and Kurt Russell, who's the sheriff, and a couple of other guys, the guy from Lost, Jack from Lost, is one of the characters in it. They go to get his wife back, and they have to eventually deal with these savage people, and they are the most savage people.
It sounds like that episode of Seinfeld. Not Seinfeld. What am I thinking?
Man,
that episode of Seinfeld that was terrifying. No, of
Do you remember that
X-Files.
Do you remember that time when Kramer tore that person in half?
Right. You break the,
Great
yeah.
episode.
There's an episode of X-Files that was banned from cable, and it was about this inbred family, and they were just savage. Just the way they were portrayed was disgusting in it, and I can see where people would have. I know people who won't watch that.
I called them troglodytes.
Yeah, yeah. Have you guys seen that movie Splice?
No.
Space?
Splice.
Splice.
Yeah,
no.
Splice. It's this movie. It's about this couple that they try to like get DNA. They try to mix it with animal genes, and then they just become like these freak hybrids who just tear people apart. And so they have sex with humans, and then they kill them. And it's it's the weirdest, one of the most disturbing movies that I've seen. It's really old. It's a really bad movie, but it's also very disturbing.
Huh. I do a horror movie challenge every year, and I generally try to find things to the list that I've never seen before, which is hard because, as I said, I do a horror movie challenge every year, so I've seen a lot of horror movies. I'm not sure if I could. This year has been like so fucking depressing, though. I'm not sure I can actually sit through and watch 100 horror movies.
Yeah.
Well, has anyone ever beaten the challenge, Jessica?
Yeah. You and Nick decided you were gonna do it last year, so I'm kind of feeling like since someone completed the challenge, maybe we don't have to do it this year. But I think I will watch
Maybe.
Splice.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Splice would be a good one to add.
My record of 113 horror movies in 100 days should just stay forever.
I don't think anybody's gonna beat you. And
Is that what you watched? Is that 113 in 100 days?
Yep.
What were your kids doing during that period of time?
Oh, I
That's a
watched
great
most of them
question.
while working.
I see. I see. Yeah.
So I was, working.
So
And
yeah,
watching
my
movies.
thing with horror movies is like they're so predictable in what they do now that they try to come up with new ways to scare us. I feel like they have a hard time doing that at this point.
Bone Tomahawk.
Normally on the challenge, I would put a lot of movies from like the 60s and the 70s that were kind of like kitschy and fun and silly. There was like King of the Tarantulas with William Shatner. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just like goofy shit like that. That was kind of fun to watch. And it was only an hour long anyway. Cam was like, hey, I'm going to do the list this year. And I'm like, sweet, I don't have to do it. Well, he puts all of these like really mind twisting, like actually decent horror movies all over this list.
All
I
right.
got to like day 20 and I was like, I need therapy. And
So yeah, I should check out that list because like the stuff that's like messes with your mind that if it's something that I can conceive possible and it's also weird and twisted, that's probably more likely to affect me.
Okay, so if the movies that we watched, that there was one that made someone stop, and that was Possessor by David Cronenberg's son.
mm-hmm. Was that Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I would recommend that's really eerie. I like the ones that are like that unsettle you. I like I like to go for the unsettling ones.
What was the one about the cave?
The cave?
Yeah, about the girls who go down into the cave. That scared the pants off of me.
Was it called Descent?
The
Descent?
Descent.
Oh, I've seen Descent. Yeah, I've seen Descent.
Scared the shit out of me.
My favorite ones. Well, not. Let me keep going. Another one that's disturbing and kind of unnerving is Possum, which is really something. And then anything. What's his name? Ari Aster, like Midsummer, and what's the other one he did? Hereditary. Those are unnerving movies. But my favorite ones that came out of that
was really good.
Were The Ritual and Bone Tomahawk.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll have to check those out. There's a game a new game on PlayStation 5 and Xbox, and it's been censored on PlayStation. They're not censoring it on Xbox. This new game that came out. It's called Martha's Dead. And what you do, I was reading about why they censored it. And you know, in some of those games, like if you're playing Grand Theft Auto or something, or Red Dead Redemption, that you have to like open the safe, or you have to crack something, or you have to milk the cow or some weird shit. Mm-hmm. Well, in this game, one of the examples they gave as to why it's censored is you have to cut the skin off of someone else's face, and it looks real. So it goes into this mode where you have to like hold the scalpel and you have to like trim it off and peel it back. And it's like reading about it's like a really twisted game. I want to play it, but
because,
can I just say I just finished Red Dead Redemption 2 the other day.
You got the gold.
That is the best game I've ever played.
It's the best game. I love that game. Of course, now with the shootings at the school, people are like, shouldn't play video games like that. But I love Red Dead Redemption.
They've always said that every time somebody, falls and scrapes their knee, they blame video games for everything. So
right, yeah. Like,
hey,
Stella just joined right there. Did she join at the cutting someone's face off and peeling it back?
Probably so.
Welcome to the
So no, but like that was the first time I've ever played through a game, and at the end, I was so attached to the character.
You know, you can keep playing.
I know I'm being John, but
yeah, you go be John. So you go be John, and so you go to getting in all these gunfights to having to be a farmhand, and all you can do is milk cows and clean up horse shit. I'm like, what? When can we get back to the gunfighting?
Hey,
yeah.
So Quest was asking when we were going to get to the good news.
That's right. It's a good question.
I want to talk about Red Dead Redemption for just one more minute, though.
Okay.
Because, like, for real, play that game. It has an honor system. So if you're a good guy, you have a different different things happen in the game, like different reactions and stuff. If you're a bad guy, it's different then. But when your horse dies, I've never felt for a fake animal before like I had the time my horse died. And every now and then when my sons are around, I'll be like, "You're okay, boy.
You're okay, boy. You're okay, boy." Hey, that's what he says. He'd be riding a horse. You'll just shoot 3 people, and you'll go, "You're okay, boy." And then you can walk up and you can just antagonize. So you walk up to groups of people in this game. And you can click antagonize or greet. And if you click like greet, it'll be like, "It sure is a nice fine day outside, isn't it today, huh?" And they'll be like, "Oh yeah." And then you can just turn around and go antagonize, and he'll go, "Look at you just lazing around." He just starts insulting them.
What I love is you go, what you do is you go greet, antagonize.
Antagonize, right. Yes.
Because you're like, hey, partner. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Can I get the time?" And he's like, "No, I don't have it." He goes, "I've never seen a more worthless pile of shit than you."
Yeah. He just says it's great.
God damn, I just left my watch at home.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good. But wait, here's some fun news. You are now the sole face of the daily Drive Time News Blast.
I am.
You're
Yeah,
on
I am.
report.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are joining me from time to time, and which I do appreciate very much, and it's great. Yeah,
Icy.
that's right.
Gonna have me insert stupid stuff for you to correct. every now
No,
and
you
then.
don't. You bring a lot of. You surprised me with some very insightful moments there. It's great. Like today, you had a lot of great stuff.
So this is
Thank
how
you.
we ended up with the lack of the female presence. I'm starting to put things together. I see.
Wait, what's happening?
So you guys were looking at the most disgusting websites possible, and I attuned that it was from a lack of a female presence.
And you were
That's because
exactly right.
Monica was not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You're exactly
I
right.
got you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I
he-
did
he-
recognize that, though. I did recognize that.
We even said it, and I was like, "We're not going back. We're not going back on the rails. There's no going
It
back."
was one
on
of the
rails."
rare occasions where I was the tamer of the but it was pretty interesting to see everybody's reaction.
So Quest asked what happened to Monica, and she, to both Brad and I know, you can tell him if you'd like, but she just had some family stuff that she needs to take care of and can't devote as much time to the show as she once did. And so due to some, taking care of family, changes of stuff, and so she passed along to your boy Brad to tell you
her
the
daughter's
truth
going off to
every day.
college, and she's doing
Yeah.
a lot of stuff there. Yeah, it's a time consuming. It's time. I mean, it's we had to be on a pretty. We were flexible to a certain extent, but we do have to be on a pretty committed schedule for the most part. And she wanted to go spend some time with the kids and family stuff, which absolutely, like, I know her daughter is going away to college and she's going to be helping her out. And so, yeah, but we're still doing stuff together. We're still going to be doing stuff on Rockfin. And
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we have Monica coming up on a future episode as well. So that should
Yep.
be a lot of fun. So you'll still see Monica. Don't worry. You'll
And
get
she's
your
also
Monica
doing her deep dives. I don't know if they're
Mhm.
every day. Are they every Monday to Friday, or?
I'm not sure. I think she's, I'm not sure.
Yeah, she's doing several. So she'll do single deep dives that she puts on
Cool.
the free feed as well.
Right.
So there's still Monica out there.
Right. Awesome. Cool.
Because we love these two, so got to keep them going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just try shutting Monica up. Yeah.
So we do have good news. I hope I'm not the only one who brought good news, because otherwise we don't have very much good news.
Well, you start, and I'll find some.
Oh, good. Oh, wonderful.
I was looking at bad news all day.
Did you not do the assignment, Cam?
I was doing the other assignment.
Okay. So I will give you two pieces of good news that I found today. Also, I wanted to let you guys know there's a website called Good News Network, and it actually only posts like good stories. And I know it's kind of like, yeah, this is a slanted view of reality because you're only ever looking at the bad stories. But the alternative to that is you look at the news, and the news claims to be a mixture of good and bad stories, when really all it is stories specifically designed to make you upset, paranoid, and unwilling to turn the channel. So what is the harm in actually like actively intersplicing some good stories in with your negative news stories? I don't see anything but benefits to that. So check out Good News Network. There's also, I think, Optimist News. There's a ton of websites out there where you can actually hear about things that are going on in the world that are actually positive and don't get any, press. You're only going to hear about, like the things we heard in the news today. I'm not going to mention them. I don't want to talk about them, at least not for this little moment in history. We're going to go back to our real lives after this, and we'll have nothing to talk about but those things. So let's talk about something else. So here are the two pieces of awesome news that I found today. Well, okay, so this one's a mix. It's a mixed bag. Someone told me some years ago that bee populations were basically like dying off. It was a horrible apocalypse level event that these bees were going to be like extinct, and then no one was going to be able to like grow plants because all the pollinators would be dead. I started looking into that story, and somebody else told me, don't worry about it. The bee populations are actually bouncing back. I thought that's awesome. And when we decided we were going to do a good news episode, I thought I'll bring out that piece of information that the bees are doing better, because people care about the bees and they want to hear that they're doing better. Well, I looked into it today, and here's what's going on with the bees, you guys. In 2019, 40% of the farmed bee populations, that means beekeepers keep them, 40% of those bees died. It's a huge number of bees that died to this thing called colony collapse disorder. They didn't really know what was causing it. It was just 40%, 60% of the bees that we had the year before still existed.
It's unbelievable. You said colony collapse disorder, right? As someone typed that in the chat, it's like at the same time, your brains are synced.
Simpatico. So what I heard later was, well, don't worry about it. The bees are bouncing back. That's kind of true and kind of not true. What actually happened was that this past winter, 2021, only 28% of the bee populations died off. So not as bad as 40, but still, I mean, like, it's not good that 28% of the bees died. That's still a lot of effing bees. But it's less than it was before. So they attribute that to people using less toxic pesticides, less pesticides on their yards in general, and allowing the early wildflower population in their lawns to blossom during the early part of the winter. Or I'm sorry, the late part of the winter, early part of spring. So like the dandelions, the clover, all that little stuff that you're eager to kind of mow off as soon as possible. Maybe for like the duration of April or somewhat into May, leave that stuff in your lawn so that the early emerging bee populations have something to eat. And that's actually something active you can do to help the bee population.
And for more bee content.
And for more bee information. Hey, I spent a lot of time reading online about bees today. I'm going to tell you all about the fucking bees. Second thing is that
can you tell me this? Are bees, which ones sting? Is that yellow jackets and then die, or bees?
So yellow jackets are this other, like bees can sting you, but they'll die if they sting you. So they're not trying to. They're not aggressive. I spend a lot of time photographing bees, and I put my lens like right up to them. I get right in their faces. I have never been stung once.
Yeah.
As long as you're not threatening to the bees, they have never bothered me.
Yeah.
And they'll be on my hand and they'll crawl around and stuff, like, unless the bee is like scared for its life, it's not going to sting you.
So you're starting to get them to get on your body. So are you going to be covered in bees? Like the bee whisperer?
I would not be cool with that. But like if you're down in the yard and you're being really still because you're trying to photograph one might come and land on you for a second. And the thing to do is not freak out and jump or to swat at it.
Yeah.
If you smack it, that's when you're going to get stung.
Did you know that bees don't fly in the dark?
I did not know that.
That makes sense.
I learned this the other day, and this is an interesting video. I thought I'd share it since we're on. This is the bee show. You're the queen bee. So check this out. They'll turn you're gonna see it, but they turn the lights out. Bees stop flying. Check that. This is bizarre, but cool. All of them.
What the
on
fuck?
The bottom immediately.
Do it again. Do it again.
You want to do it again?
Yeah, I want to see it again.
Yeah, I missed it. I missed the light going out.
Oh, it's starting the Thor trailer. 1 second.
Thor also does not fly in the dark.
I don't approve of over-sexualizing men, and so I don't watch Thor.
There's no way
to It's good to take a stand there.
Completely stupid stand.
Okay, so watch the screen right in front of you. Okay, here we go.
Oh wow!
Wow, why? They're not dead. They're crawling around.
Yeah, they don't fly in the dark, and I heard of another experiment they did because they noticed that bees. I think it was like bees wouldn't fly over water. or something like that. And so what they did is they took bees and they put they charted how they flew, and then they would put a mirror underneath them, and they couldn't fly under the mirror because they have to. So they would as soon as the mirror was there, they just go all over the place and get lost. It's because they have to. I don't know if it's they have to see the ground and where the ground is in order to fly at all, or they lose all of their perception of where they are.
Wow. Makes me think of birds, when they get stuck inside a garage or there's a bird that flew inside here about 2 weeks ago, and I blocked off the whole room because I had a light on. It was night, and I guess they're like moths and they fly. I don't know. It got in here, and I knew I could hear something. I was like, is that bird inside or is it just really close outside? And I realized there was a fledgling bird sitting on the window panel, and I was like, shit, I gotta get this bird out of here. You don't want to touch it because I think the mama bird might not mess with it anymore if you touch it, something like that, something weird like that. And so I had to blocked off the whole room, and I made it pitch dark, and I got a flashlight outside, and I was trying to and it did. Eventually it flew out and it missed. It missed at first and it hit right in the window, but then it went right outside the window I had opened.
Okay, I verified this because I heard something on Facebook about this and I wanted to check it before I said it, but it said that parent birds don't actually recognize their young by smell, and they won't abandon a baby if it's been touched by a human.
Good.
So do you have an opportunity to return a baby bird to its nest, you should put him back.
Yeah, I got him outside, and his other little fledgling siblings were out there too. He just somehow got in, and he wasn't good at flying yet. So there's a nest right up here outside the store, and there has been for years. I even tried to move it after one season after they had had all their babies, but they like to come over there. I guess they feel safe here because a lot of the fledgling ones don't make it, and so
because if you've got cats in the neighborhood, they'll
eat them. Yeah,
it's pretty quick. Yeah.
So Stella says they have a plant where 9 bees sleep in it at night. They're blue banded bees, very cute. They're Australian bees.
Oh wow!
Oh,
that's so pretty.
Look at him.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
That's really cool.
It's awesome.
Bees are neat. I spend a lot of time photographing them and sort of watching their behavior, and they're really interesting creatures.
Jessica, were you a horse girl?
No.
I
was poor. Horses are a rich girl's game.
No, I don't mean horse girl in the way of you actually had a horse. I mean you read horse books and stuff.
Oh no.
Okay, because
I knew my place.
How about bird watching?
I'm not a bird watcher, but my husband is a big time bird watcher. He knows all the names of the birds. He can recognize their tails and their wings and their beaks, and he's a big time bird guy. Yeah. Oh yeah. I got him for Christmas. I got him a birding journal, which you write down the birds that you've seen. Yes.
I saw a woodpecker today.
I saw a brown raptor. And he knows which ones are hoppers and which ones are runners. It's kind of cool, but sort of a useless skill. I don't know.
I wish I could fly like birds. I envy their ability to fly.
Yeah. But also they're covered in mites and they have to stay outside during the rainstorms. So I don't envy them that much.
Yeah. Do you guys usually let them inside if it's not raining?
No. No. I don't like birds. Baby birds actually freak me out.
Yeah.
They're too lizardy.
Well, they yell at you if you get near their babies. So if you go outside when this has fledgling birds in this nest, and the mom and dad, which are usually both flying around, they won't come in there because they're scared of you, but they will swoop by going screaming at you. I'm not doing anything to your kids.
They're descended from dinosaurs, so they have a vaguely lizardish quality to them.
Yeah,
that kind of freaks me out. If you look them in the eye, you can tell if they were big enough, they would eat you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Why did you ask? I'm curious though to know why you asked if I was a horse girl.
Because I just figure that if you're a bee photographer, you're probably also a horse girl.
Oh,
stereotypes, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm not one of those girls.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh man.
There's a bunch of geese that try and intimidate the dogs. It's like a little battle they have going on. Yeah. They're always walking around. They'll be walking literally up the street with their little babies with them, because there's a water source about a mile away, and there's also a water source here, and they go back and forth. And when the dogs get near, they just like fucking bring their feathers up, and they start yelling at them.
Geese are dicks. They'll chase little kids around. Have you ever been to Collins Hill Park?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's been overrun by geese. Like, the humans are not in charge there. So, like, people who don't know that geese run that park, they'll bring their kids there, and then the kids will get chased by the geese. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, they'll beg too. So if people are feeding them, they'll just come right up to you and look at you like a dog would, like, give me some food, man.
Yep. Yeah. So just don't go in that park. Stay out of that park. It's dangerous.
So I have another video before we get to the next bit of good news.
Okay.
It's an old Vine, and so I'll describe it for anyone listening. So it's a video of a several deer in someone's yard eating from a bird feeder, and they're looking at this, and you'll hear what happens, but it makes me so happy.
God.
Nice.
Dude, there's
Nice,
deer
Ron.
all over some neighborhoods, and especially in northern parts of Georgia that used to just be woods, and they're neighborhoods now. And you'll drive through the neighborhood, and there's just families of deer in everybody's yard looking through if they have trash out there or eating their flowers, and they aren't scared at all of people. I mean, not at all. I saw one. I might have told you guys this. I saw one that it was I was at a red light at the intersection of this road going into a neighborhood. This is up in Cherokee County, Georgia, which is kind of the mountainy area. And it was just standing there at the crosswalk like it was waiting for the crosswalk. And I'm sitting there at the light going, is this deer waiting? And then it changed to the person. And I don't know if it's probably just a coincidence, but the deer starts walking across when it changed, like it was following the rules. And it had been injured, so it had learned, because I think it probably got hit by a car before because it was limping. And so I went to the store, and I came back maybe 30 minutes later, and I'm sitting at the same light, and I look over on the opposite side of the crosswalk is that same freaking deer just waiting to cross the street again, and then it just limped its ass across the street back into the woods. It just not scared at all of humans.
It's got to get around. I mean, we have to figure, if our cities keep encroaching into these environments, the animals that are going to survive are the ones who learn to like operate within the confines of a city environment.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, deer do learn to cross the road. Go ahead.
I ran a poll on YouTube. Did Cam eating those chips make you want to try ghost pepper chips?
Good question.
67% said no. 33% said yes. Those are my people.
Really?
Right.
Wow. They want the challenge.
See, but are you going to live stream yourself cursing in the bathroom when you're receiving the second harvest?
Absolutely, I will.
This show's going to end, and Cam's going to immediately collapse, and sweat is going to be pouring down his body.
He's holding it together for the sake of manhood, but really he's in deep, deep personal pain.
When I realized I could do polls, I was so excited. So I'm doing another one. I'll let you know when it's voted.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Love to see you work a poll.
So the second piece of good news that I had, and this isn't, I don't have as much detail about this as I did the bees, because I kind of did a deep dive on the bee thing. But the science people, this was in one of those journals. It is an actual thing that I looked up. It's real. So the science people have done some experiments on this drug that they can inject into people's spines, and people who have spinal injuries where they no longer can feel below their waist, or have been in car accidents where they can no longer feel below their shoulders, feel below their waist. In mouse studies, it has been shown to return feeling and mobility to the limbs of mice who have had spinal cord injuries. And so they're going to begin human trials next year on this drug. And if it's successful in people, that means people who have not been able to walk due to spinal cord injury might be able to receive this drug and walk again.
Yeah, they got a lot of great stuff in that type of research that they're developing that can help people who who can no longer feel their limbs or have lost control of their limbs. Where some of it they're actually using to help people now that they've gone past the trial. So that's always good. I know people worry about the other effects of some of that technology, but I do think there is some very good technology that helps out people who are in those situations. For my mom, there was technology that was very beneficial to her that helped her with her legs and her ability to,
Right.
to use her body.
Like
Yeah.
over the last 2 years, I definitely think people have gotten really down on the medical community, and with really good reason. But there is another side to that where they are like more and more improving and extending people's lives. And so there are trade-offs to this, absolute trade-offs. You know, like you don't get the benefits without some of the side effects. Absolutely.
Totally. So I can give you an example of that, like a group. So a lot of people, when they hear a hospital like Emory, and I'll be the first one to say, like I was not allowed to go into one of my dad's appointments because I was not vaccinated, and I needed to go in with him. And the strange thing was that the doctor there I think that what my dad initially got was caused by the vaccine. And I said that to this doctor, who was the second doctor we've been to, and she did not disagree with me. She said that is a possibility, and she had seen it. So the very doctor she had said she didn't disagree with it, they would not let me go in because I didn't have the vaccine that might have caused it. So she actually came out and she escorted me in. The doctor did. That was good. Yes, that was a good thing. But my point is that same place, so that was a hospital that is associated with this therapy place that helped my mom for years. She was on a list and she got into this program because she was showing improvements, and this therapy program ended up being one of the most like joyful things in her life, because it was a group of people at this organization. It's called the Shepherd Center. It's a great place that they saw through the disease that my mom had, and they saw her as a person. They were excited to see her, and when she came in there, they weren't like other doctors were. They weren't saying, "Oh, there's nothing we could do." They were actually saying, "Yes, yeah, we're gonna fucking help you, and we believe in you." And they did help her, and it brought joy to her, and it brought joy to my dad. And so that's why I'm not all like everything in the fucking medical community is terrible, because there are a lot of people who are trying to do good things, who do good things, and who their heart is in the right place, and they have the resources to actually help people. So I'm not completely against them either.
Right. I was glad to hear like a good medical story, just because things have been so awful. You hear nothing but bad news, and it makes me scared to seek medical care sometimes. And, you know, I'm youngish and healthy-ish now, but, you know, for older people, I'm worried that they're not going to their appointments because they're worried about bad doctoring. There are some really good doctors out there, so please go get your screenings. I love you, Pop, go.
Yeah, you just got to ask questions. Like the thing that worries me that you get in kind of a predicament is when you or when they give you an answer that is like gonna put you in a bad situation, and you feel like you can't ask questions because they're the authority. As long as that's a difficult hump to get over, but as long as you can get over that hump and you can question that authority, then you're in a lot better place with that. So you can take the information as it's useful, and as it's not useful, you can say, "All right, fuck off. I'm gonna go find somebody who can help me out." Yeah. I see that as good news. So that's my version of good news.
If I took every drug that I was prescribed, like every drug that I had a prescription for, I would be on seven daily medications. I would take 7 pills every day. If I don't take any of them, and I'm fine. Like, you do have a choice. Like, you don't, just because somebody with a white coat tells you have to do something doesn't mean you have to do it. Sometimes diet and exercise will improve your situation too. So, just, make informed choices.
Totally.
And ask for second opinions.
Yes, definitely get second opinions, especially if you get a diagnosis or an answer to something that is not good. Always get a second opinion.
Right.
I find it interesting to look through the recent publications on like nature.com and other journals, social science journals, and medical journals, like you were just citing from a moment ago, Jessica, because there is always some interesting developments and things that they're working on that, if they can do successfully, can be truly groundbreaking, and that they have implemented in the recent years successfully for some people.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
I went to the doctor the other day, and I get to this doctor, and she finds out that I vape. And this doctor, I swear, promise, this is real. So I need a second opinion from you, Brad. She told me that she would rather me smoke cigarettes and then get off of those than to keep doing the vape and to get off of that.
Yeah, I see those commercials as very propaganda-like commercials for against vaping. And I remember a couple of years ago, there was this really big, like a couple of weeks, the news was all against vape. It was all about the dangers of vaping and
popcorn lung.
Yes, popcorn lung. Yeah, totally. And I don't know. I know that there were some tobacco companies that could benefit from making it seem as though vaping is worse. I don't know if there are problems that I really have no idea, because all I know is that it was a very heavily propagandized issue just like a couple of years ago for a short period of time.
Yeah. Well, our next poll is in. So, does Jessica seem like a horse girl? 67% say yes. 33% say no.
That's. I mean, I have to say, when you asked that question, I thought Jessica's might have ridden a horse. Equestrian, is that what it's called?
I've ridden a horse before, but that horse knew I didn't know what I was doing, and it just stood there and ate grass.
Didn't go anywhere.
The horse knew that I was not a horse girl. So 1 out of 1 horses say no.
Elon Musk definitely doesn't know how to identify a horse girl either, according to the stories we're hearing.
I feel like that's rude. I don't know why, but it
sounds rude. Are you a horse? Hey, you a horse girl, baby? It sounds a little creepy.
Are you a horse girl? I'm like, what?
So speaking of the vape thing, Juul is owned by a tobacco company.
Yeah, I think they bought them.
What was interesting about one of the things they did is they moved the age up to 21, and then they also banned, I think it's changed since then, but they banned flavors other than menthol and tobacco. Mm-hmm. So this just made their product the easiest, and like you can get them elsewhere. You can go to stores for it, but in gas stations and stuff. And so they were essentially trying to corner the market because they had the market share of tobacco and menthol. And so there definitely was some propaganda in that, like 100%.
So I think I've done a little bit of reading on it, and there is some concern about the carrier oil that they use. Is a vitamin E based, something to do with acetate. And I didn't see, the reason I'm not a biologist is because I couldn't pass organic chemistry too. So pardon me while I muddle my way through this. But there's something to do with the way that like attaches to your lung, that it actually like deposits more chemicals, is what I think I read. Like you get more crud in your lungs from it. So I don't know if
I would get a second opinion from some another doctor.
But
or
if
somebody.
you're gonna stop vaping, just stop vaping. Don't go to cigarettes.
Well, yeah, right. One of my friends like vapes and also sneaks away from his girlfriend, smokes, and like changes his shirt so she can't smell the smoke, which I think is just hilarious, personally. I mean, I want him to be healthy, but the fact that he changes his shirt, so I'm like, dude, why are you vaping and smoking?
It's not healthy to have this lie in your life from your girlfriend. Also, how does this bitch not know? I would know. I would know.
Yeah. I don't know. She might know. He might not be fooling her.
Yeah, she's letting him get away with something, I think. Because I would know if my man smoked, I think. So is he also like brushing his teeth and washing his hair?
I would hope so.
Does he smoke in his car?
I think sometimes.
She can smell it.
I would think so. Unless maybe COVID knocked out the smell. I have no idea. He doesn't do it a lot, but sometimes. Because I remember asking him once. I hope he doesn't listen to this, by the way.
Women, no, he doesn't listen to this.
He might. He listens to it,
Women have more sensitive smell than
she
men
probably
do.
knows. You're right. Y'all are right. She probably does know.
Are you calling women dogs?
No. Women in the wild, women were the hunters, or women were the gatherers and men were the hunters. We had to be more attuned to like the taste and scent. No, I'm serious.
I know, but I like this idea that it's not like the way you said it, in the wild. Like there is a roving packs of women.
There were at some
right
point.
now.
Yeah, no, there are, and like tribal people in the jungles and shit like that. It's
I
still
mean,
the
in
same
America,
order
it's a funny
where
image.
where the
funny
men
image.
hunt and the women gather, and so we have to be able to like smell the herbs and like taste stuff, and so we have more sensitive. Plus, you know, we raise the children, so we have to make sure that we're not poisoning the babies. There's science to this. Women have more sensitive smell. Yeah, it's wild women. Wild women. Think about it. Mud up to the knees.
Think about wild women, definitely.
Roving packs of suburban moms. Yeah, they have that.
Also,
that's terrifying.
I also got a bit of a raise this week from my job, so that's good news.
Congratulations. That's awesome. That's good news.
It's very nice. I have another poll result. You want to see it?
Yeah, what is it?
Okay. All right, let me share it instead of not setting it up first. You know, like an idiot. All right. Is Brad a handsome boy? 67% say yes, 33% say no.
I appreciate that. That's
a
little more than I'd expected, I think. But thank you. All those who said no, you know, I thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that.
So in the chat, it was like he's a man. So I think it's 100%.
Well, that's very kind.
A boyish man.
A boyish man. I do have. I'm very. I'm silly. I'm silly, like a younger person might be. I like to play around a lot. My dog, I think, reflects my silliness.
And
it's
and live.
And live.
Live. LITHE.
What is that?
Yes,
live. Yeah, it's a word. I didn't make it up. I promise.
No, I believe you. I just felt my vocabulary is limited at times.
Let me. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Thin, supple, and graceful.
Oh, thank you.
Like
I
Loki.
appreciate that. Yes, very.
Loki is a good example of a live man.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's very kind. I will take that. I'll remember that word now. Lithe.
Yeah.
I think that.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think there's some good news is that we are alive. I see.
Alive and live.
We're alive and live and thriving. Live and thriving. It's gonna be my new tagline. But I think that a lot of it can be the perception that the filter that we look through life. I think can be the way that news. So I can look at Drudge Report right now and I could see everything and it could just like fucking devastate me if I wanted to allow it to affect me that way. Or I could look at it and say, this is like the funniest fucking nonfiction or fiction thing. You could just literally string the headlines on Drudge and some websites together into like just sensational fictional story that is like hilarious that they're putting this stuff out as legitimate. And I actually do think that's fine. I think that it's fucking crazy that nobody cares, at least in the media, about, you know, all the Hunter Biden stuff. But I also think it's really funny that Hunter Biden's a fucking painter and that he just does all this. I mean, it's stupid. I think it would be hilarious for Hunter Biden to be given like this role that it was of no consequence, but to be given a title in the administration. That would be like a funny troll that I would be angry about, but I would also appreciate the humor in it. So I think that like good news is a way of, I think you can see good news in news that even seems bad by just the filter that you look through things. If that
like
makes
if
sense.
You appreciate the absurdity, it becomes fun instead.
Yes, because you have to laugh at stuff. You absolutely have to laugh at it and find humor in it. Yeah, you just have to, because the only way that you can, like, if things are dark and sad and terrible and all the news is terrible, you're not going to get out of that feeling by looking at things in a way that only perpetuates that feeling. It's impossible. But the way that you can get out of that, the way that you can start to feel better, is to look at that stuff through a lens that finds the stuff that can make you smile and laugh through all of that stuff. And so I think you can always find good news even in bad. Not that you should I'm not saying you should make fun of people. I mean, you should make fun of people if they deserve to be mocked, like media figures and stuff. But I mean, people who don't deserve it and in personal life and stuff. But I mean, you should just there's always the fucking silver lining. There really is always a silver lining, in my opinion.
Why do I feel like painter is a job they give to people in Washington who are otherwise embarrassing, and they want to like shunt them away from public view.
Like George Bush also.
Yeah, they're like, no. He became a painter, and you're
Right.
like, what? And then you go, well, let me see the paintings. Because you would want to, right? And how fucked up is it that George Bush paints the faces of injured soldiers from Iraq? This is a Twilight Zone episode.
Like that to me is just like, is that real? And he also paints. Yeah, I think he painted a picture of Putin or some shit.
To the internet.
Did you guys see that? His fake interview. I don't know if these guys have to be some sort of psyop, but those guys who prank the congressmen and pretend to be like Russian politicians or Ukrainian politicians pranked George Bush, and they made it seem, and George Bush seemed to actually believe that he was talking to Zelensky in this video. And
Do you have it?
I can send you the link.
Yeah, do that.
These guys are definitely some sort of operation, but this to me was just George Bush seemed completely clueless to what was going on to this.
Can I just comment on how weirdly good of a painter he actually is? And it's
Hunter George Bush.
No, Hunter Biden is shit. I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean like as a person, which he is, but this has nothing to do with him as an individual. I just think his art is shit. George Bush is weirdly good. Like,
right.
He's
well,
really good.
Yeah. He's maybe he missed his calling, and he would have been a famous painter otherwise. And yeah, he's so energetic in this interview too.
He just wanted to impress his father. Like,
he what?
George Bush just wanted to impress his father, and his father would never
right.
like accept him and love him the way that he loved Jeb. And George Bush did everything to try to get his father's affection.
Jeb is such a loser.
Including
Jeb is boring
president of the United States. And even while he was president, he's like, do you love me now, daddy? And he was like, no, you were my worst mistake. And now he paints his pain. Like, this is a deeply tortured man. You guys don't understand. He deserves it. This is the hell he's built for himself. Yeah, no, he deserves it. But he's deeply tortured. And his father never loved him.
I put the link in the private chat, Cam. I don't know if you can access that.
I'll grab that in a second. But Quest asked how many otherwise famous people are also children's book authors, which I find funny.
Stacey Abrams.
Gross. But I thought it was funny that he asked, because the other day we were sitting at the dinner table, and we have those books. If you give a mouse a cookie, if you give a moose a muffin, if you give a pig a pancake, if you give a dog a donut, and I'm annoyed with the fact that they started with, if you give a mouse a cookie, and then went straight into alliteration every time. So moose, muffin, pancake, pig, like whatever. And so we sat at the dinner table last night or the night before, and we did the entire alphabet with alliterations for the titles.
Don't you love alliteration?
It's like an improv game.
We did.
No, it annoys me that the first one is an alliteration. So
but then they did alliteration. So why did they mess up the first one? Yeah.
Right. And that annoys me. So we sat there, and there were only like 3 that we didn't figure out. But would you like to hear our list that we came up with the kids?
Let's hear it.
I want to hear all 26 of them.
If you give an alligator an apple pie, if you give a bear a biscuit, if you give a cat a croissant, if you give a duck a Danish, because we decided we weren't going to reuse any of theirs.
Okay.
If you give an eagle an eclair, a frog a French fry, a goat a granola bar, a horse a hot dog, an iguana an iced tea, a jackalope a juice box. We put 2 cryptids in here.
Okay.
A kangaroo a kiwi, a llama a lollipop, a meerkat a milkshake, a narwhal a noodle, an owl an omelet, which was all Ezra.
How would he eat it? That's silly.
A python a popsicle, a quail a quesadilla, a reindeer a roast, a snail a snickerdoodle, a turtle a taco, a unicorn an upside down cake. Use was really hard.
That was good.
A vampire a vegetable. We then cleared up the ZX was what really got us. A vampire vegetable, a walrus a waffle, X, a Xenarthra a Zuba. We had to Google that one because it's next to impossible to find.
What is it? What is it? What kind of animal is it?
I think it's like one of those dumb animals that fall off of trees. Sloths.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's kind of sloth.
Yeah.
A yak, a yogurt, and a zebra, a zucchini.
Nice.
That's totally an improv game. It makes me think of the ABC where one person, they pick an audience, picks a letter, and you start with that letter, and then you have to go back and forth with dialogue, and you have to start each sentence with the next letter in the alphabet.
It's a great car game.
Yeah.
But I want to address this question by Quest right here. Do birds eat other birds' eggs? I think there's one, but not an owl and an omelet. Birds love eggs, and a great snack for chickens is scrambled eggs. I know it's effed up, but it's true. They love it. Birds love eggs.
But yeah, no, I challenge anyone to sit there with their kid and their wife and try to do this as well and not use any. I mean, you can use some of mine, but not use any of mine, because you don't know what it's like to try to think of foods and animals that start with letters.
Is it difficult? Sounds like it might be difficult for you.
Because you hit. I mean, obviously we figured it out after a while, but like when you first hear G, what's a food that starts with G? But it can't. But the rules are you can't. It has to have the article a or an. So you can't be like, can you give a goose goulash or whatever? You have to say if you. There you go. But I couldn't think of one until I thought of granola bar. Graham crackers is better too. Damn you,
That's
Brad.
good. It's really good.
And we also tried to keep them short. But I'm just saying, like, there were times where we were on letters, and it's just like after you do it for so long, you're like, God.
Yeah, it can be frustrating. What's the game that you play the ABC game too when you're driving in cars? Another one. Yeah. Where you look at the road signs and you point out when you see
the license plate game.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
I also like questions. That's a good improv game.
Yeah.
Now, was I the only person that brought two actually good news stories?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Because I want recognition as the only person who did the assignment. Yes.
I'm going to tell you, I went to reddit.com/r/uplifting news, and so many of these are just like propaganda. Like, it's just like, oh, well, more people in Georgia are voting. I don't give. Great. Why would I care about that? But there was one good piece of news that I saw on here, which is that Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy has been delayed.
I don't know what any of that means, but I'm happy that you're happy.
Well, I don't know if you remember the new Star Wars films that came out.
Yeah, vaguely.
They were terrible. Especially the second one, which is The Last Jedi. Yeah, but that's not the same. That's not the same thing. But like, The Last Jedi was a terrible movie. Mm-hmm. I hated it.
Yeah.
And Rian Johnson's the one who directed it. It's the one that gets the most flack out of any of the movies.
Okay. All right.
And so it being delayed means it doesn't have to come out. Like, I hate how these people ruined my love for Star Wars, Brad. Were you a Star Wars guy at all?
Not really. I like Star Trek. Never been a huge Star Wars fan. Yeah,
I'm a Trekkie as well. That's awesome. Yeah.
I love the laser sword, man.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't hate it, but I'm not waiting in line dressed as any of the characters.
Oh.
Yeah. There are six parts of this video you sent. Which one's the best one? Or should we watch a lot of it?
I watched the whole thing. I didn't realize it was 12 minutes, but it's all pretty funny. I think the fact that Ricky Gervais has his comedy special is out on Netflix, I think that's a positive thing. I always think Netflix has an alternative agenda. Even though they fired a bunch of people, I still think they have an alternative agenda. But
he did an amazing movie called The Invention of Lying.
I haven't seen that.
It's amazing. You should definitely see
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, The Invention of Lying was extraordinary. They don't make a lot of human stories anymore. It's always somebody shooting laser beams out of their eyeballs or sparkles coming from their fingers. They're a monster. I don't know why, but nobody wants to tell stories about human beings anymore. The Invention of Lying is a human story, and it's really funny and really good. So.
He's a funny guy. Like, he's really funny, and he doesn't seem to, He doesn't seem to hold back.
The premise is that he lives in a world or in a universe where lying doesn't exist, and he's the first guy to figure out how to do it. Like, could you imagine the power?
Yeah, you'd have a lot of power in a universe like that.
Right.
That's how our universe is run anyway.
Yeah.
I tried to watch his special last night. It starts off really strong, but then it got just like mild chuckles, and I gave up.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet. I just saw that it came out.
Who's your favorite comedian right now?
You know, right now, that's a tough question right now because everything's so political right now. Honestly, there's not much stand-up that I watch that I think is very funny. I mean, I think it's chuckle-worthy, some of it. Like Dave Chappelle's special. So Dave Chappelle's special in like 2017 or 18, the one that he got all the flack for, that one I thought was really funny. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah. The next one that I saw him do was the one where he did like, I think he did like the George Floyd thing. He was like the first comedian to do the outside performance. And it was more like a speech than it was comedy. And I was like, okay, everybody's being political now. I just feel like everything's gotten too politicized where people aren't really hitting comedy hard. They're just hitting virtue signaling hard. Yeah. I would say that Bill Burr. I think he's always funny. I mean, the dude's always funny. He's just like a funny really guy. Yeah, regardless of what he does. And I will always appreciate the video of him when he performed in Philadelphia and they weren't digging his performance. So he knew he had to fill like 20 more minutes for contractually. So he just started ripping apart Philadelphia. And the people there just started roasting the city and the people there, and they were booing them. Everybody's booing them, and then he like turned them, and they eventually loved the fact that he was roasting all of them, and he got like a standing ovation, and it was fantastic. It's really impressive.
That's very impressive.
Yeah. And the commitment of it, the ability to withstand the fact that the entire arena is booing you and continue forward to the point of them loving it is amazing. It's awesome. He's funny. Yeah, all those everybody listed are funny. They're all very good. Mitch Hedberg was great. He was very funny.
He was.
It's a long time ago. He died. Lewis Black is funny, but Lewis Black has gotten so political. He's always been political, but so there's like a balance, you know. So you can be political without being bitter. You can be political without being, you know, bitchy. And I think we've gotten to the point where too many people are doing comedy where they're just, you seem so obviously bitter and bitchy that it's not funny anymore.
Well, they got this idea because of things like, because of the types of bits that like Lewis Black back in the day, but also like George Carlin, where he would sort of be speaking truth to power, but in like a funny way. So they're thinking that there's like this sacred duty of comedians that they have to like be this like avenue through which the political truth comes. Right, and while George Carlin did have that quality, it was a special quality where he wasn't preaching at you. He was on your side. There's this whole strain in comedy now where they're like lecturing you. You're like, I paid money to be lectured and be told I'm a bad person. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Stephen Colbert's the worst. I don't know that people pay to see him anymore other than their cable bills. But he's just it's not even doing fucking comedy anymore. It's like you're just doing CNN late night. It's all it is. And like, it's so... Norm was great. That's a great one.
There's a
new special's coming out. Right. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
It's not out just yet, I don't think.
I love Norm Macdonald.
Couple days.
So he talked about this during the pandemic about the challenge of being a comedian right now, because what you do when you're trying to develop your set is you go to open mic nights and you practice stuff and you cross the line, and you have to cross the line so that you can find where that line is, and you can, because that's what comedy is. It's crossing boundaries. It's, you know, making juxtaposition of context and stuff like that. And if you can't do that, if every time you do that everybody screams at you, then you're gonna end up being Stephen Colbert. And so he was talking about how he would do that, and you can't do that anymore right now because everybody's so sensitive. They train everybody to be so fucking sensitive. It's like we have a whole generation of people who have been trained to be activists, whose number one skill is being offended by anything and everything that happens.
Right.
And yeah.
There are good new comedians out there who do. Unfortunately, they submit themselves to this because you have to get anywhere, like to get a Netflix special, to get
Yeah.
anywhere, you're gonna have to do a little bit of this. But like comics like oh god, I'm gonna say his name wrong. John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Mulaney.
Which
Right,
he's a funny guy. Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Funny guy. His bits are great, but he also kind of like falls into that category of, you know, they do virtue signal.
Yeah, you can tell
So-
that he from watching him. So he's very funny. He's a good writer. He's a great writer, actually.
Yeah.
But you can tell that he recognizes that he's got to pull back a little bit. You can see that in his sets.
He knows where his bread is buttered, and
Yes, he
you
does.
can't right. And so that's an unfortunate stop on people who would otherwise maybe they're being kept back from greatness, perhaps, or
Yeah.
they are submitting, and
I
they are
mean,
therefore not great.
I know comedians who have. I know some one who is on the Daily Show as a writer or was. I know another who ended up getting a Netflix special. Who the reason they got these specials, they got them because of it. They did the woke stuff. They did exactly what they were told that they were to do. One of them was, I don't know if you guys remember, there was like this whole strange, like 3-month period or so where everybody loved this girl who
Hannah
was
Gadsby?
who was doing these Trump TikToks where she would just play Trump's voice and she would just mock Trump. She would just lip sync Trump. That's all she did on TikTok. And her name was Sarah Cooper. And she eventually got a Netflix special out of this, out of literally TikToking Trump's voice, where it was Trump's voice and she lip synced it and she would do weird stuff to it. And she got a Netflix special. There was even like, I saw on Twitter, it's the 1-year anniversary since the first Sarah Cooper TikTok video. So this girl, she had done a couple of I've auditioned for a number of things with her because she used to be in Atlanta. And she did a couple open mics that I hosted, and she wasn't a stand-up. She came to like try it. And so like she started doing this, and they started calling her a stand-up. I'm like, that's not a stand-up. Those are TikTok videos of someone doing that. And so I looked her up to see. I didn't know much about her. I auditioned with her, but I hadn't really talked to her, for an extended period of time. And I found that like around 2017, a couple of years before this, she had gotten married to a Google infrastructure engineer who like creates the infrastructure that the algorithms built. I don't understand it, but reading his role, he clearly had like a position in Google that you could help someone show up at the top of like search engine rankings. I don't know if that was the case. I don't know if she agreed to do something. She's also biracial, which that is a role that that's part of the check boxes of being, having power lent to right now, like with Kamala Harris and everything. That's just it. I'm glad she's experiencing success, but the fact that like it was being used to like say that Trump is a Russian Nazi, which I don't give a shit about Trump. He's not a Russian Nazi. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And this person that used to do these open mics is being called this groundbreaking stand-up who's not even doing stand-up. And propagating the same messages that CNN is. I was like, this is not fucking comedy. This is what's being called comedy. It's not comedy today. All the people that y'all have listed are good.
It doesn't sound like she's a stand-up. It sounds like she gets down on her knees. To me,
I don't know. I have no idea. It's just baffling to me.
Yeah.
So I think my favorite comic at the moment is Tom Segura.
Oh, I love Tom Segura.
I love Tom Segura.
Yeah. That Ball Hog. I watch Ball Hog every time I'm like, I have the flu or I'm sad or like, just can't get out of bed for whatever reason. Ball Hog sometimes is the only thing in the universe that can make me laugh.
Yeah.
And I have seen that special multiple times.
I haven't seen that. I need to watch that.
I watched when I gave up on Ricky Gervais the other day. I watched Disgraceful or Disgraced by Tom Segura. Also great. I mean, I just
very good.
Oh my god, I just love that man. One of the things that I noticed with Dave Chappelle's last show and Ricky Gervais is both of them seem like, instead of them being straight up stand up specials, they're like in defense of comedy specials.
Yeah.
That's what Dave Chappelle. You were talking about Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
last one, I sat through it and I was like, this isn't super funny. It just seems like I'm fighting for comedy. And Ricky Gervais started the same way.
Yeah, and they are, and even Bill Maher, who I don't agree with on most points, is sometimes he does
His
go
recent
off on
monologue.
Yeah, they've been pretty. He does some good stuff in them, and he doesn't. He seems to not like the censorship or the wokeness. But another good comedian, you might not have heard of him. He's not as mainstream, but he is pretty popular and he's great. I've performed with him a handful of times, and he's come to Relapse all the times. Rory Scovel, you should check him out.
Yeah. I know that name.
He's like a super nice guy, and he's really, really funny.
They were always semi-famous or famous comics that would come to Relapse, and the ones that would hang out afterward and like have drinks with the people. Those were always awesome.
Yeah. And Rory has like an improv background, so he did an improv show with us a couple times, and we had this free 1 a.m. show that he would headline, and he filmed his Netflix special. He had a Netflix special. He filmed it at Relapse.
That's awesome. Yeah. Good times. Sorry, go ahead, Cam.
I cannot remember what it was.
Oh no.
Is it the spicy chips?
No, that's over. That was so yesterday.
Well, for now.
Yeah, there might be like a second or third wave. We thought COVID was over too.
Oh, an old person that's really close to me has COVID.
Oh,
like
I'm
as
sorry.
of today. Yeah, I laughed and then I went, oh, I can't laugh at that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay,
yes.
so that's what it was. Andrew Schultz.
Oh.
He does
like the porn comedy. He's funny.
No, he does fantastic crowd work.
He does. Yeah, he does.
Like
he has good joke structure too.
Yeah, there's like if you're on TikTok, just watch his stuff. The crowd work is just great to watch.
Yeah, he does a good job with crowd work. And that's a skill you develop definitely the more you practice it, and you get a level of confidence as your ability to do that grows, because that's one of the things that most people are afraid of the most is, one, you're afraid of silence. Two, you're afraid of being heckled in a way that, what if I'm heckled and I can't say anything? And you're supposed to be the comedian. So once you develop a skill of being able to handle that, and he's very good at it, then you do great. Seinfeld, too. I know Seinfeld isn't necessarily touring right now, but I've always loved Seinfeld.
I have probably listened to I'm Telling You for the Last Time, which is the special where he does all his famous material. Yeah. I've listened to that 20 times in the last.
I saw it in concert do that. It was awesome. Yeah.
That is an evergreen special and one of the greats.
Bill Cosby's himself.
What if that was my answer, Bill Cosby?
No, I mean
his was great. His material was really good.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: the one I'm most disappointed in, I think, in recent years has been Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, Jim Gaffigan, I used to really like. I haven't seen much of his stuff lately, but he's
who I want to see do more is Zach Galifianakis.
I haven't seen him do like anything lately.
Live at the Purple Onion on Netflix is great.
Right on.
He's like kind of he's got a different style, but it works for him.
Yeah,
you could do like an impersonation of Galifianakis with your beard.
I've heard that before. So in that his special Live at the Purple Onion, he also pretends to be his brother Seth Galifianakis. He does a little like. My name's Seth Galifianakis.
Yeah.
I've seen this. Yeah.
Yeah. We were in the car together, me and you and my dog Funyuns. Like, I've also been told at times that my voice sounds like Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
See, what's weird is that brother character. Like, I know that guy. Like, I know that guy.
Do you know that T.I., the rapper, has been doing stand-up comedy lately?
Good for T.I.
I saw that the other day. Apparently, he yelled at somebody at an open mic, a comedian at an open mic who was making fun of him.
So it's going well.
Yeah, exactly.
Dimitri Martin.
So Dimitri Martin, I think that's I think he's good at what he does. I like some of his stuff, but I think that's like a specific style. Every comedian actually is going to have a specific audience, but he's different.
That was funny the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
The first one that I saw was
for
funny.
A second and a third and a fourth time of that, because I get it. You have
Jon Stewart's funny. I mean, Jon Stewart's a funny guy too, and the guy who hosts the Daily Show, even though the Daily Show is not funny, he is a funny guy. So if he were not focused on politics, Trevor Noah, he's a good comedian.
Yeah.
He just does the shit he does. Sam is funny. Tripoli's funny. He does. So Tripoli was in Georgia. I didn't get a chance to go see him, but he is. Tripoli embraces his style, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch him have fun, and it's infectious.
Yes. Yeah. Politics has affected the trajectory of comedy so much that it makes me mourn a little bit. Like, what would we have if it were not for this? Because so many people are held back by this weird social movement that we're going through right now. And I don't know. I see signs that good will overcome. I'm really positive about things. I think that everywhere you look, there are signs that this thing that they attempted to do is not going to work. It's not going to come to pass. And the pendulum is swinging. Like, it's coming to the other side. So I'm positive about it, but I do mourn what I think was taken from us.
Yeah, I would agree that I think it has, a lot of people have recognized and rejected this extremely fascist, really communist, it's one and the same idea that they're trying to present, and they're trying to control society through these progressive ideals that make people think they would be more empowered, but in reality it just gives more power to those already in power at the international level. And I think more and more people have rejected that bullshit, and I know that there's people that are kind of black-pilled that would say, well, yeah, but it's just part of their plan. So it's a constant battle, it's constant. They're going to constantly adjust. If you read Edward Bernays' books, he describes this probably the best. A lot of them talk about this, but it's a constant adjustment to where the public is. They have to feel out where the public is, and they have to adjust what they're doing. And it's the same with the public. It's the same with the people. As we see where they are, and we make our adjustments to counter what they're doing. So it's not that they have all the power. They don't, actually. The people have the power. There's more of us than there are of them. It's the fact they keep us divided that it makes us feel otherwise, makes us think that we are against each other as opposed to against them. And that's the only thing that actually keeps them in power, is that divide and conquer strategy working. Because I think when it comes down to it, they have to have the will of the public. And some of these clips I played in the show yesterday, they expressly talk about this, is they're able to do things because they are able to get the public to say that they want it done. And that's a power that the public needs to recognize. And I think more and more people are recognizing it, and the media apparatus though would make it seem like it's fucking otherwise, like it's just completely, the reality painted through the media is just so far from what it actually is. It's unbelievable. Because I'll get caught up in it. I'll see all this shit on TV and I'll think, man, everybody who is a Democrat is just insane, crazy. They want to fucking cut everybody's dicks off. They want to sew titties on everybody, and they just fucking hate everything that's normal, and they're all fucking whatever. They're crazy. And then I'll go talk to my friend, and my friend will be like, who's a progressive, be like, I fucking hate these mandates. I'm not voting for Stacey Abrams because of these mandates. I'll just be shocked. I'm like, wow, I watched CNN. I thought you had a dick and cut your titties off at this point. And it's just not the case. It's just not the case that most people are fucking normal. For the most part, some people are out of their fucking minds. Excuse my language. But most people are fucking reasonable. And when you talk to them one-on-one and in person, then you realize that. But they keep people not talking to people one-on-one. They keep people in these groups and social media, because there's no conversation on Twitter or conversation on Facebook that is like, okay, everybody ready to have a reasonable conversation, a well thought out. That's not how that works.
No, not at all. Yeah.
But
And people are your neighbor might be completely opposite politics of you, but you borrow each other's wrenches and watch each other's kids. And I mean, like, people are able to interact and conduct normal lives no matter what their politics are. It's not the emergency situation that the media is painting it out to be. It's really not. Right. Your neighbor might be a Democrat. You would never know it.
Exactly.
Get along.
Yeah. Yeah, so now they've got it to the point where it's like what party all of your friends are associated with. Because they want you to prejudge it and to react to that stereotype instead of them. But sometimes there'll be people that you just meet and you absolutely have no idea what party they are. You don't care. Maybe you find out later and you're surprised. But the fact is, it doesn't matter. It's when all that other stuff poisons it that it does matter. And I think that that's good news, that when it comes down to it, when you're actually there face to face with people, talking to people, interacting with people, it's not driven by the bullshit that they want it to be driven by.
Nope. You know what people talk about? They talk about their kids. They talk about their jobs. They talk about the shit local to their lives. It's important to them. And it's not in Washington. That shit's not important to people. It's not. Like that, when
really
we're
not.
all in our little cave with our little glowing box, that's when we're all upset about politics. But like whenever you have an opportunity to participate in like sunshine and grass and outside, that's the furthest thing from your mind for most sane people.
That's why they have to do this stuff where it's like, okay, everybody seems to be getting along too well right now. Abortion, throw that in there and make that, and just find reasons to get people angry at each other in ways that are never going to be. The whole abortion thing, that's not ever intended to do anything but cause people to fight the way that they put that in the news. That's all they do. It's just like, hey, let's find the most divisive point of this conversation. We'll start the conversation here, and then we'll make people think that the worst thing in the world is going to happen to them on either side, and we will ignore everything else about the conversation. And that's all they focus on, and not everybody buys into it, but some people buy into it. I think most people don't. I think most people don't even watch the fucking shit anymore. I seriously do.
I tweeted today that I can't have the same conversation again for the 50th time. And I mean that
quitting the podcast.
No. I mean that about like these like issues, man, like the gun thing, the abortion thing, just any of the negative stories you hear in the news. Every time it crops up again, I'm like, man, we are all saying the same shit we said last year, the year before that. I don't have anything new to add to this conversation. I've said my piece 100 times.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm done.
That's the same way I felt when I saw that Texas shooting story. Whatever, I know some people think false flags. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not there. I have no idea. People, if people lost people there, then that's fucking terrible. I'm not interested in the same fucking politicized bullshit as we've seen over and over again for however long. The past 4 or 5 years, it's just been overwhelming with that amount of bullshit, and it's exhausting, and I don't want to fucking have the conversation about that anymore. And I totally agree with you.
And I don't think there's any crime in stepping back from news stories. I think that it can actually like do a great deal of positivity to your mental health. Like there will be another one along shortly that you can get all devoted to if you want. There'll be another news story. There'll be another event. There'll be another sad fucking thing that happened. If you need to step out for a couple of the news stories, a couple of the news cycles, just to like remember that the sun is still shining, that onions cooking and butter still smells really good. Just like be really mindful of life around you and how like actually really awesome and really great it is.
Yeah.
You can do that. And then when you're rested and well adjusted, then you can jump back into the fray. But if you're feeling yourself getting so sad that you're like taking the black pill, everything is terrible, everything's collapsing, you do not have a straight view on reality, my friend. You have exactly what the corporate media wants from you, which is an addiction to bad fucking information, bad stories, sad stories, depressing stories, and you can't pull yourself away from it, and you will never turn the channel. That's what they want from you. Do the rebel thing and turn it off and go the fuck outside.
Amen, sister. Yeah, I like that. Totally. They want us to feel black-pilled. People feeling black-pilled, and I know it can be hard sometimes. It can be easy to be black-pilled, but that is a victory for them, because if people feel black-pilled, then they've won. There's nothing left that they have to do. And the fact is that they wouldn't be overwhelming us with the type of propaganda and psychological operations that they're doing if they were in a position where everybody was complying in the way that they wanted them to. And I couldn't agree with you more. Cam, there was somebody who, and I don't know if
I know,
you probably don't like that at all, that comparison you got.
Yeah, but so I asked first if there was any if you could describe Brad's humor with any one comedian, who would it be? There was only one answer for that, which Quest said, and Andy Kaufman, but he's actually funny.
I do some Andy Kaufman. Thank you, I appreciate that. I've done a handful of Andy Kaufman experiments in with comedy before. I've definitely done some stuff like that.
The ball's on you, Quest. The ball's on you.
Well, just a second, because the ball's on Elephant Man in a second here. I asked the same about you. No one answered, Jessica. So,
because you already called me a horse girl, and you should feel bad about it because it's rude.
And so I asked the same about me, and Elephant Man said Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I knew you wouldn't like that. Seth Rogen. All right. My takeaway. All right. If you go back to like 2012 and your understanding of Seth Rogen, then it's probably, right now, I think so. I hear Seth Rogen and I just think about he's just so political that he talks shit about his best friend in Me Too cases and shit. It seems like he throws his friend under the bus. Maybe his friend was a dirtbag. I don't know the whole story.
Yeah, probably.
He probably was. I have no idea. But
doesn't James Franco look like a dirtbag though?
He does, but that doesn't mean you are a dirtbag.
I don't believe by the way, just to throw it out there, I actually don't believe the accusations against him. And I think that there's a lot to suggest that he was caught up in something that he's being accused, even though there was a consensual.
Right. It was consensual. That's my understanding of it too. And I think the accusation is that he slept with his students. Well, there's people who sleep with their students. That's not only him. That's not unique to
It's like the Louis C.K. thing. Yeah, it's kind of creepy, but she said yes. Like, they're two consenting adults. What am I supposed to be angry about here?
Right. You know what's funny about the Louis C.K. thing is that we knew about that 10 years ago, long before any of this ever happened. That was like a commonly known thing that he whips his dick out. And it's something that people joked about. Then all of a sudden, it became a thing that people are offended about, that Louis C.K. does that. If you know that Louis C.K. does that, if that's like his reputation, and look, you're going to meet some interesting people in comedy clubs. There's no doubt about it. You're going to meet a lot of inappropriate, strange people in comedy clubs. And Louis C.K. is not the only guy that I knew of who would whip their fucking junk out at inappropriate times. Not at all.
Jeffrey Toobin.
Toobin. Yes. A hilarious comedian, Jeffrey Toobin.
Who I would never have heard of if he hadn't whipped his penis out.
Right.
And isn't it great that his name is Toobin?
This is perfect.
It's perfect. But also, I can't say that I haven't seen a dick or two in my time at the comedy club.
Of course.
You see a dick now and then.
It's like a good night when a dick doesn't come out. Stop showing your dick, guys.
He was polite. He said, "Can I? May I even?" And she said, yes. She could have said no. That's two consenting adults. I see no problem with this scenario.
It's not uncommon for towards the end of a night with alcohol flowing and drugs, lots of drugs in theaters and clubs, for someone to end up running around naked. That is not, and usually it's some dude who's just out of his mind on drugs or something.
Or there's tits out, happens,
It happens more so than it doesn't late at night at some of these places. And there's
specific girls that tend to do it.
Of course, there's definitely some girls that and just like there's some guys that they happen to do that more. It's not. Right. It's the nature. People in that industry are wild, and there's a lot of substance abuse. And that's just, and all of a sudden, Louis C.K. is an evil guy because he. I saw Sarah Silverman talking about how she wanted to see it. It's she's like, yeah, I want to see it. It's of course that's his thing. You want to go see him do it because you want to get the fucking material. A lot of the mentality of this is I got to do it for the material. People would say that all the time. And so they do crazy shit.
Are you not curious whether it's also redheaded or not? I would
it is.
See that if it's got red hair, and then it would, and I would be like, oh, okay, that tracks. I would be curious though. Yeah. And so my thing with James Franco is he kind of a weirdo? For sure. That dude's
definitely a weirdo.
Weird.
He's very weird.
Because it's easy to pick on people like that. It's easy to wedge, because he's weird, and people would go, oh yeah, that guy's a creep. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't make him a creep though. And okay, sleeping with your student, not the most appropriate thing in the world, but is she of age and did she consent? Then there's no victim here. There's no victim. So what are you me tooing him for?
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm with you,
completely agree.
James. James Franco, you're my dude.
Yeah, so that's the thing about James Franco. So Cam, what you said is right. He does look like a guy who would be a douchebag, but he acts like it. So he looks like a guy who might be, a jock who's a jerk at your high school.
Yeah.
But he acts like the weirdest drama kid in your high school. He's like a weirdo.
Yeah.
And so like it's a weird combination. So he can seem to come off that way. And I don't know, maybe he did do something inappropriate, but it seemed like it was consensual to me. I thought James Franco was funny in some of his more absurdist things that he's done personally.
Yeah.
Dude, Pineapple Express was a hilarious movie.
And that's what I'm saying about that other guy that they say you looked like. He's a funny guy. Of course, his main thing is that what he does is he takes two words, he puts them together that shouldn't normally be together, like dick titties. He just picks two things, put them together in a different context, and that's kind of his style. And I think you are. I think you're of a higher. I think that you don't go just to that, which that is funny. Don't get me wrong. I like humor like that, but also not when it's the only humor.
Right.
So what's funny about Louis C.K. being canceled though is even though it's not wide, like people aren't talking about it, he did win a Grammy this year.
Yeah, I
his
know.
last
They
special.
were so mad. There was like a couple people really mad about that for like best comedy.
Yeah,
album.
and I've downloaded it, so I need to watch it. But
I was on a post where someone said, "Are we ready to forgive Louis C.K.?" And I'm like, I was never mad at him. I'm
Oh
like,
my God, who cares?
you
Yeah,
can't
are we
declare
ready to
that
forgive?
we are mad at Louis C.K. We are not mad. You're mad, bitch. That doesn't make the rest of us mad. Like, I'm not even mad at Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson called a cop sugar tits to her face. I'm never going to be mad at that dude.
That's
that.
hilarious, kind of.
Great.
Yes.
That's great. And yeah,
Totally.
he yelled shit at his ex-wife, but I mean, who hasn't yelled shit at
But
her
he still
ex-wife?
is doing movies though, so they're like mad at him, but he's
Dude.
still, yeah. They just
Right.
They
And
He's
just
so
persona
good.
non grata at all the good Hollywood parties, which is fine because they're full of baby blood drinking degenerates anyway. So,
They absolutely are.
Mel,
Nope.
I know you're a good Catholic boy.
oh, I thought you were saying that to Brad. I'm like, he's not a good
No.
Catholic
No,
boy.
Mel Gibson.
No,
Yeah.
Mel.
No, I know.
To Mel. My
Yeah, he
boy
plays
Mel.
the Santa Claus. Have you guys seen the Santa Claus movie? he's in?
Yes.
Oh, he's an Aussie. Stella, I did not. I think I knew that a long time ago, but I'd forgotten about it. And then I saw one of his interviews where he was talking. I was like, God, I forgot that he is. Yeah, he is. And so he's a good actor in his early movies.
Can I just say, The
yeah, they're
Patriot is a good effing movie. Watch
He's
The
got-
Patriot again. It's good.
The dude has charisma. That's why it works. He's got charisma. He's confident in himself, and he's a good actor. He can get into a role really well. I like him. Mad Max.
Mutiny on the Bounty with Anthony Hopkins. He was excellent in that. That
Lethal
was
Weapon.
Great
1984.
Braveheart. Signs.
So good.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix
Signs.
was great in that too.
Joaquin
Joaquin
Phoenix.
fantastic actor.
Talk about weirdos, Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, that guy.
Weird.
But he like experiments. Did you guys see the interview where he went on David Letterman's show and he like took gum out of his mouth and like put it on David Letterman's desk, and Letterman got like pissed off about it. Because at the time, Joaquin Phoenix, he was doing interviews about, I think, the movie Walk the Line.
Yeah.
Where he played Johnny Cash, but
Yeah.
he was also filming a documentary where he was becoming a rapper. It's just some weird shit like that. And so he's like fucking with David Letterman, doing some Andy Kaufman like shit, and Letterman got all pissed off about it. It was great.
The best David Letterman story, I think, is that sometime in the 90s, he got blackmailed for cheating on his wife. And they sent him these pictures and said, if you don't pay this money, we're going to tell the press that you're cheating on your wife. He came on his show the next episode, told America live on television that he was cheating on his wife and that some douchebag was trying to extort him, and he wasn't going to do it.
That's
And-
like Batman Year One, the
Baller.
animated movie.
Yep. I thought of well, yeah. I thought
Gordon,
the same thing.
The mobster was going to tell. So he called his wife. I didn't know Letterman did that. I like Letterman. So the
Yeah.
Letterman Leno war, I appreciate Leno. I think Letterman's funnier. I did not know he did that. That's interesting.
And so a magazine asked his wife, what she thought about that and if she was going to leave him. And her response is, I'm David Letterman's wife.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how sweet my life is? Fuck off. I'm not leaving David Letterman. He can fuck anyone he wants to. That I don't have to do it.
I hope he told her before he told the
I'm
national
sure he did.
audience. Yeah.
And she was like, that's fine. I still get to spend your money and I don't have to fuck you. I mean, it's a pretty good arrangement because look at him.
Yeah. He's funny though. So if you watch one of the a fun video for David Letterman to watch is like, go to YouTube, type David Letterman, Julia Roberts flirting, and it has like this montage of videos of Julia Roberts' appearances on his show, and she is totally into him, and he's so quick-witted. He's very good. I mean, he's a good comedian. He did 300 nights a year when he was working his way up to develop his style, and he got his wit down. And I mean, it's totally, they have chemistry. They probably should have gotten married at some point. Watching them flirt with each other in these videos.
Very interesting. I hope he hit that. And also, she seems like she fucks like a squirrel. Like, just tiny and squeaky. It doesn't really move around a lot.
You think so? You think Julia Roberts?
The squeak.
Squirrels not move around a lot?
When you have sex with them, you have to pin them
yeah,
down.
Well, I mean, usually they die afterward.
It's frenzied and panicked. There's a lot of squeaking.
Yes.
It's just a generally unpleasant kind of thing.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
So we were talking about Australians, and I work for some. And the other day I learned a new Australian phrase, and I said, hey, can I get permission to use this phrase? And she was like, oh yeah, the founder of the company uses it. It's fine. The phrase is, and what it means is like, we're not here to screw around. We have something to do. Let's get to it. But the phrase is, we're not here to fuck spiders.
Stella, have you heard that phrase if you're still watching? I love that phrase, by the way.
It's my favorite.
I hope it's legitimate because they weren't messing with you, because I would love to use that phrase. Because we're not here to fuck spiders. Let's get to business.
Oh, I put it in the chat and I spelled it wrong. We're not here to.
let me do a poll.
Elephant Man says that watching Letterman when he got shingles and Bruce Willis had to fill in. I did not see that, but I bet that Bruce Willis was a good host. Bruce Willis is he's got charisma. He's a charming guy. He probably was a good host, if I had to guess.
Not anymore.
Well, nobody will ask, and nobody brings it up. He got the vaccine. And all this stuff started happening, it seems, and he did not want to get the vaccine. He said in an interview, I don't know if that's what caused it, but that's the first thing that people think now, just because they won't let you think that.
I mean,
I love Bruce Willis.
It would be unfair to blame it on that, but how weird is it to get aphasia? Like, that's a really rare.
It's got to suck. I mean, it's just like, so if you watch the guy, the NSA, the former head of the NSA, what is his name? Hold on, let me find his name. He had a stroke. And it's just unbelievable to me that it's Michael Hayden. So Michael Hayden, he was also the head of the CIA at one point, I think. He had a stroke a few years ago, yet CBS still brings him out periodically to deliver propaganda. And they will say we have former national security head Michael Hayden on.
Look on Cam's face right now.
What?
He found something.
Oh, yeah. Well, they bring him on, and he has aphasia. And so he's speaking like someone. They have somebody has aphasia, and they do tell you that before, but it's just like you feel bad for him, but he's still delivering propaganda through his aphasia. We're not here to fuck spiders.
Wow. So they mean meth when they say the life of an ice dealer?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way that my boss described it was that this is more of a rural phrase.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it is known by most Australians.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I love it. Now I want to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Whew.
Just imagining what it would be like with a spider.
Yeah, I mean, not good. I think they would die just like the squirrels.
Not just like.
Yes,
in a different manner.
You got to be, it'd be a different way. Yeah.
I mean, they curl up afterwards.
It's like physical
You could
But
spoon a dead spider though.
You got to be gentle, is all.
Gotta be sweet. All right, so we're at over 2 hours, so it's time to wrap it up. And you know what? We've asked you for what gives you hope like a billion times at this point. So I'm gonna mix it up. First, I'm going to ask if you, Brad, were to describe Jessica's sense of humor, how would you describe it?
Well, that's a question that I would need to sit on for
as
a
a
little while.
female,
So Jessica's sense of humor is she's blunt, she's to the point, which there's humor in that. There's a lot of humor in that, actually. A lot of stand-up comedians that you see that are women, and not all of them. Definitely not all of them. They've talked that are women. They talk about their vagina the entire time. It's just like every punchline is, and then my vagina, and it's like it can be funny in the beginning, but it's like, no, it doesn't last. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, Amy Schumer, for example. Jessica is not like that. She does not do humor like that. She is more. She's straightforward. Jessica will come up with an insight that is unexpected, very unexpected, which will hit the audience and they won't see it coming. So she's good at the reverse, as they would call it. And she does it in a way by being kind of straightforward and bold in what her truth. I don't see what her truth is. It sounds stupid, but by saying things that she strongly believes. Yes, her truth. If that makes sense. I have to think about that a little bit more, but that's my first reaction.
Could you do it for me?
Could I do it for you? You Cam, you are you like to find the twist. You like to not like that, but you so you can be, you're quick-witted and you can very much see the irony in the what's being presented that everybody else is taking very seriously. You're quick to point out that the ironic part about it and present that ironic part to show people through the punchline. And I think that's my first reaction to having to analyze yours. But I could think about it more. I could probably give you guys a little bit. I used to teach stand-up comedy for like 4 years, and I did give like in-depth like analysis of people's style. So I'd have to think about it more. But that's my first reaction. I love Gilbert Gottfried, by the way. I saw that in the chat. Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh man, you know he is one of my two favorite comics because we didn't actually get to. I didn't get to answer who my favorite comics were. They're Danny DeVito and Gilbert Gottfried. So when Gilbert passed, yeah, well, I just had to remember how great he was for being the first person to try to make people laugh after 9/11. Like he actually told the aristocrats joke to a bunch of mourning. Yeah, like Hollywood elites
he did not give a fuck.
Their job was to be sad in that moment, and he's like, no. I'm going to tell the aristocrats joke to this room of very finely dressed people.
Yeah.
And that was Gilbert. That was every bit the man I want to be. So
yeah, he was great at roast. So good at roasting people.
And on Twitter, you could pay him to send dirty messages to your friends on their
really? I didn't know that.
That's
awesome.
Yeah. And so I never looked into how much it costed, but I was gonna see if he could send a dirty message to a friend for a birthday, but I didn't end up getting around to it. Now my moment has passed. So sorry, Gilbert, but right there, buddy.
Yeah. So you are 4'11", correct?
Me, yes.
Yeah. So are you, besides people with disabilities, are you the shortest person that you've ever met? Or do you know shorter people?
My friend Summer is actually 4'10". So she's an inch shorter than me. And we had this bit because we both worked at a restaurant together. And we never got to do it, but we had it all worked out. One time a customer told me, damn, I didn't know it was bring your little sister to work day because of how small I was. And the next time it was going to happen, Summer was going to stand behind me, and I was going to move aside and say, "It is Bring Your Little Sister to Work Day." Because how funny would it be, like a Russian doll, to move aside and there would be an even smaller girl behind me? Right. You would not expect that. Unfortunately, this setup never worked itself out, but we had the bit planned.
So Danny DeVito is also an inch shorter than you.
Yes.
How wild is that to imagine?
He's 4'10", Danny DeVito is?
He's 4'10".
I didn't know he's that short.
Yeah.
He's little.
He's a little guy. I had a friend who was a tour manager for Ziggy Marley for years. And so he'd been all over the country with the Marleys, and one time ran into a very, very tripping on mushrooms Danny DeVito. Which to me is like the greatest moment of my life that somebody else had. To run into like a tripping Danny DeVito. And he said that Danny DeVito is a really fun person to be around. Which I imagine him tripping on mushrooms at Ziggy Marley puts him in the running for probably one of the most fun people on earth. So
he was in Twins with Arnold, right?
Yes.
In that,
yeah. He was also the greatest penguin to ever play that role. Yeah. Truly disgusting. Like,
really, absolutely. More disgusting than what's his name? The good-looking dude who played it this time. Who played Penguin in the new Batman? Colin Farrell, that's right. Yeah. They made him look rough, real rough.
I kind of like that they went in a different direction with it and not like really disgusting, because that was kind of Danny DeVito's thing. He did it masterfully, and they didn't try to like recreate fire from sparks or whatever.
Yeah, it was definitely a different take on it, but they did make it. I mean, it looked real. It looked like Colin Farrell had like let himself go, but it wasn't. It was all makeup, but it did look legitimate.
I need to watch that movie at some point.
Have you seen it, Jessica, the new Batman?
No, my husband did. I took a really strong stance against all these superhero movies, and I'm done with them.
Earlier you were referencing that too.
It's
a lot.
Human stories anymore, and I'm really getting fed up with people who shoot laser beams out of their asshole. Like, I don't care anymore. And so he went and saw Batman with a friend of ours and came back, and he was like, "You would have actually really liked it." So
it was less superhero-y than some of the other movies. I will say that if your superpower is shooting laser beams out your asshole, that would be one of the more unfortunate superpowers to have. Is
it depends.
Pull your pants down every time you gotta.
What if Spider-Man shot the webs from
out of his ass?
Yeah.
What if it feels good? We're not.
He'd be chasing people down, then taking his pants down every time. It'd be an awkward movie.
Wait. Yeah, definitely. No, so I will see it when I have the opportunity to sit down and watch a 3-hour long Batman movie.
Elephant Man says it actually is a human story, and it is some human elements to it. It's definitely more grounded than some of the other ones.
I liked the Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought there was a lot of humanity in those stories.
Yeah.
And despite the fact them being like these crazy CGI like stuff that's like completely unbelievable, it was still very human. And so I appreciated that about it.
Yeah. I think that's what makes a good movie, is if you can have sensational powers that if you keep it grounded in reality, then I think it works. I think that's why I liked the Daredevil series on Netflix years ago.
It's coming back to Disney Plus.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's a show out called The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like a dark.
That's hilarious. I like The Boys. Yeah.
Yeah. I
like the show The Boys.
The Boys. Yeah.
He loves The Boys.
He loves The Boys. That is a superhero thing, but I'm actually really enjoying that.
It's a good show.
Yeah. So I would recommend that one. But it is kind of a reversal. Like the superheroes are not good guys.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I was going to try to find a good Would You Rather, but I couldn't. These all suck if you search for Would You Rather.
Oh, I have a Would You Rather.
Yeah, let's end with a couple of Would You Rathers, and then we'll call it.
Do you have one?
Go ahead. No, not yet. Okay. I'll have to think.
We were eating at the Mexican restaurant the other day, and on the wall was a picture of the devil, and it said Diablo Ito instead of just Diablo. And so we asked the waitress, "What does Diablo Ito mean?" And she said, oh, it's like a little devil. Okay, so I asked my husband, I said, would you rather fight one man-sized devil or 100 little tiny devilitos?
How tiny?
Now they both, I don't know, like a couple of inches. Think Bruce Campbell in Army of Darkness
Yeah.
and all the little people. There would be 100 of them that you would have to fight, and they would have the same powers as the man-sized devil, but the range would be truncated.
Okay.
The powers being they can poof in and out of existence. So if like you try to step on them, they can just poof and then reappear somewhere else. And then they also have a pointy stick that they can poke you with.
But it wouldn't hurt. It would just be like a little prick.
Well, there's 100 of them though.
It would hurt 100 of them. I'm saying the one man size.
Yeah,
one man sized.
Yeah.
So my husband said the same thing.
What would you do?
The little devils, you could trick them into like a garbage bag, and then
Can they poof out of it?
Not if they can't see the location that they're poofing to. That's the rules.
Oh, that's the rule. They have to be able to see. Okay.
Those are the Nightcrawler poofing rules. I figured that they would apply to the mini devils.
Yeah, I would still go with the one. I think I feel so like the one character in all the Marvel movies is the what's the guy who shrinks himself down, the stupid
Ant-Man?
character,
Ant-Man.
the Ant-Man, that guy, like the worst superhero. That's still a superhero power that he can shrink down and he can go. People don't recognize that he's there. I think that would be a disadvantage. You have all these little devils. Some of them you can't see. I would use that to my advantage if I were little like that. So I'm going to go with the bigger one.
All right. Okay. All right. And you too, Cam? You'd fight the man-sized devil?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's more impressive.
Okay.
Yeah, to take down. Yeah, to tell stories about afterwards. Obviously. Yeah.
I wonder what the split between the genders is and how often men would fight the man-sized devil and then women would fight the little devils.
I thought you were going to say the split between how many little devils are women, how many little devils are.
They're all women. Let's be Okay, Cam, what's your would you rather?
Would you rather have a penis on your forehead or 2 penises replacing your thumbs?
Can they get erect?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Are there balls?
do you suck your thumb
Just
as a habit?
penises.
Just penises. So you don't have to like lift balls out of your way to see. Like
Sound like, hey, let me sign the check. Sorry about my penis finger and balls. I don't mean to put this all over the check.
you have to like move the balls out of the way to like see stuff.
You're right. Not covering your eyes. Not a.
That
Okay,
changes.
let's say there are balls, but they're on the back of your thumbs rather than in the hands.
Wow.
I'm going hands. I'm going dick's thumbs and balls in my hands because at least you can hide those. You can put gloves on.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I wouldn't want to have to like move my balls aside like bangs to talk to people. I think that would be really awkward.
Dude, no, it's my hair. My hair just looks like testicles. My hair has veins.
You're constantly doing one of those.
Ouch!
Ouch!
Right.
Oh God!
Ow!
Also, would you not be tempted to like lick, like just to see if you could like?
And that'd be the worst. So some people get caught picking their nose while they're driving, but you get caught licking your own balls and dick from your head while you're driving. That's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, and think about it. In the winter, you're driving, no problem. They're up here. Summertime, they're down in your mouth. Like,
You're
what
like
do you want?
sweating. Yeah, it's bad. No, nothing on the forehead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going. No forehead. So anyway, that's terrible. I mean, you'd have to like do like that. It's just like, what do you do? Like, do you have one? Do you have? Is that like a second penis? Or these second and third penises here?
Yes, they're additional.
Are they fully functional? Like,
Oh yeah.
it gets hard if you're aroused and you just like see somebody walk by that looks hot. It gets hard.
So that's embarrassing. You got to wear pants on your
Yeah.
head. You got to like boxer briefs to cover
Dude.
it up.
You become a unicorn when you see a
I don't
hot
know.
girl.
This is embarrassing.
You would have to knit like a cozy for it to like, just like, I don't know. You'd have to work it out. It would be obscene. You couldn't just wear it out in public like that.
I mean, what can you imagine Lucy Kay having this? It's got a hard
Do you wanna
forehead,
see my
left and right. Yeah,
I
he
don't
takes his
know.
hat off. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these would be like it depends on if functional is important to you or not, though, because you're not doing by yourself, you're not doing much with these.
Can I pee? Like, if I could pee out of my thumbs without having to like go to the bathroom, and I could just like go out the back door
You
and
just hold your thumbs over the
fire.
That's something I hadn't thought of there. Is that a capability?
That's really convenient.
Why not?
Yeah, you could just like hold it to the
so.
ground in line and just like nobody would have any idea. You could spray people with it.
Losing an argument, you could just like.
Yeah, just piss all over them with your thumb.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
There's a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah.
So thumbs are the consensus.
Yeah, thumb dicks all the way. Yeah.
I wonder if there's a study being done on thumb dicks right now and the effects it's having on mice. Perhaps they'll do some human trials.
Did you hear about the man who lost his penis and they put it on his arm?
Yeah, they found it and then they
put it on
I
his
don't know.
arm?
I don't know the story. All I know is that
It's
the
about
last time I
Bobbit?
did the propaganda report with Monica, I had it in my notes to be like XR. Because what?
What am I doing here?
Are you saying maybe they got the skin from the arm to rebuild his penis?
No.
But you're saying they put the penis on the arm.
Yes, I'll show you a picture that is not. That's blurred.
Yeah, okay. It's
blurred.
like Japanese.
No,
porn.
why? No.
Do you see it, Jessica? I don't
Why
see
is it there? But it can't be there. It's.
Do you see it? I don't see it.
Yeah, he's about to.
What the fuck is this? This is unbelievable.
Does it work?
I don't know. Well,
Why is it there?
know.
Why did they put it there? Whereas cufflinks should go. Let me roll my sleeve up.
Look at
Conversation stopper. Is what this is.
Good
You just
Lord.
you're in a tense situation. You just roll that sleeve up.
Yeah, everybody will
can-
say, I had no idea. I had no idea.
Sir, I am sorry. Let me give you your refund. I'm going to comp the room.
I had no idea that every time I was shaking your hand, you were getting aroused. I had no idea.
God.
Because you're touching it every time you shake this guy's hand. I
He
feel
looks like the kind of guy that would have a dick on his arm.
if somebody's going to have an arm dick, it's this guy. Is that?
Yeah. It's got arm dick
It's got to
written all
suck,
over
though.
him.
Can you imagine that? You got to tell people that eventually, especially if you're going to get close to him. You eventually have to reveal, look, I have to tell you something.
You got to keep it that clean. You got to keep everything about that real clean all
My
the
penis
time.
is on my arm.
Yeah. He's a
You think-
a divorced dad.
Well,
Well,
does he have it? Does he have two penises?
no, he just has the one. There was a
Just the
blood
one.
disorder, and it was moved until he could get it reattached.
He passes urine through it.
Oh my
That's a functional
god!
penis.
Can you imagine
Yes.
that? You're at a urinal and some guy's like holding his arm over, and you can see it. That's just
Does she mount the arm? Can it still work?
his forearm is probably really strong at this point.
He could finally have. He's thrilled at the prospect that he will finally be able to have sex again.
I think that was after he gets it reattached, right?
Oh, so they took it from the arm.
So they're gonna put it back.
Yeah,
in
they're
his,
Yeah.
in his,
okay.
yeah. All right. All right. Good for him.
Yeah. How you doing? I'm great. They finally took the penis off my arm and put it back in my crotch. Hadn't.
Thrilled to hear
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I've heard of people having their heart on their sleeve, but not their dick.
Yeah.
I wanna stay in touch with this story. I want to find out how it goes for him. And for the love of God, we have to get this dude on our podcast. I have so many questions.
It is interesting. Like, how would it feel? Like, could he get aroused from his arm? It's a blood flow problem, so they put it there. Like, was he going to lose it? So they needed to. It just doesn't make. I do want to know what happened here.
He does have a artificial cylinder inside of it, which he can pump in order to give himself an erect.
We talked about that with
Right. So
PW.
the morgue guy, he said when people die, then they have erections. It's usually because they have this penis extender, which you can pump like a Michael Jordan shoe, and give yourself a boner, which is great.
It's like a Michael Jordan
And it's
shoe.
and the little pump is in the ball sack.
Yeah.
Is it a little
If it doesn't, it's-
basketball?
Yeah,
I
you
wish
just-
it was a squeaky toy.
You push it. Hold on.
Okay, do you have a can you think of a would you rather? Brad?
A lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure. Would you rather I get punched in the face by Mike Tyson, or
You get punched in the face, or me?
No, you.
Okay.
You get punched in the face by Mike Tyson, or let's see, what would be worse, or have a sexual relationship with Leah Thomas?
Oh God.
Oh
Punch me
God!
in the
Punch my face in.
That was an easy one.
Me and my brand new neurologist will enjoy talking about how I
Yeah.
didn't have to do the second thing.
Yeah, I say
Cool.
punch me, Mike.
Punch me hard, dude. Just like knock me out.
But she did. He punched the guy on the plane who kept fucking with him the other day.
Good for him. He shouldn't have to take shit just because he's Mike Tyson.
Have you ever watched the interviews of him where in the middle of the interview, the guy will be like, he's like, he brings him on one premise, and then in the middle of the interview, he brings up the prison sentence that he served. Tyson fucking loses it on this one anchor. It's so fun. I mean, there's a number of interviews this happens, and he just like, he tries to keep it together, but he can't. And he like threatens. It's funny as shit. It's like, come on, man, what the fuck, you fucking piece of shit? What are you fucking doing, fucking piece of shit? And he just like slowly loses it on these guys, and you can see how terrified the guys become.
Like you poked the bear, my man.
Yeah, why did you do that? Don't bring Mike Tyson on your show, put him right in front of you, and you know, jab him. I mean, if you think he's an animal, he might be.
Yeah.
Then he's gonna fucking come after you.
He bit a guy's ear off.
I love the commercial. I think it's like I don't know, it might be an Adidas commercial where he goes to Evander Holyfield's door and he knocks on his door and he's like, Evander. And he pulls out a wedding ring case and he opens it up. He's like, I got your ear. And they give each other a hug.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's the best. It's a good commercial.
All right. So, do you have anything else you want to tell these fine people before we do all the dirty work at the end?
No, other than thank you for watching us be ridiculous and have fun and hear some good news from Jessica, even though we didn't do the homework. Thank you, Jessica.
We'll
do the homework next
Thank
time.
you for telling us about that website, because I think it is good to have some good news.
Good News Network and
Yeah.
Optimist News. There's no reason not to inject a little like, oh, hey, they found, you know, the cure for Alzheimer's or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, those stories are happening too. So, you know, but you got to actively look for them because the news is not going to tell you that because it doesn't terrify you enough to keep you like watching a 24-hour news
Right.
cycle. So,
Also, I have tentatively set a Zoom hangout for this weekend. So if you are a patron, let me know if that's, go to Patreon and let me know if that's good for you. You too, Jessica, and you too, Brad, if you want to come because we have fun. And if you want to join and become a part of it, do that. It'll make everything in your life better. I promise, 100% guaranteed, your life will be better.
okay.
But yeah. So patreon.com/themadOnes.
I have to say, I have had fun playing games with you guys off air. I had a lot of fun playing games with you guys at times.
It is a lot of fun. Let's see what else. Oh, if you want to support Brad and on the daily drive time news blast, you can go to patreon.com/ is it propaganda report or the propaganda report?
Propaganda report.
/ propaganda report, and you can join his as well. Report. I won't give you anyone else's Patreon except for Brad's. I'm never gonna tell you where to find another one's Patreon because I'm not that good of a guy.
Yes, you are.
Beyond that, if you want to follow Brad on Twitter so you can see all of the new episodes he does with me or without me, you can go to @FreedomActRadio. You can also listen to the Propaganda Report at thepropreport.com, your favorite podcatcher. You can join Rockfin if you would like to get the long version. You can go to Patreon as well to get that. And is that all that you're on? Patreon, Rockfin,
Locals, also propreport.locals.com.
You can get it there too.
I didn't see the female interview with Mike Tyson. I just saw that comment. I'll check that out.
I love Mike Tyson. Yeah. So beyond that, join his Patreon, follow him on Twitter, and I think what's the best bang for your buck for you? Is it? I mean, all of them preferably, but like, is Patreon the best way?
Patreon probably. I mean, really, they all have unique things that they all get unique things, and you all get the XR through all of them. We have the biggest community on Patreon, but it's also active on locals, and I like Rockfin a lot personally. So it's really just what your taste is. Just look at the platforms and see which one kind of fits your vibe.
Cool. And so, like I said, you are invited to when we do this. I'll let you both know for sure if
Sweet.
otherwise it'll be Saturday unless someone wants to pipe up. Let's see. Beyond that, we'll tell you the rest of the things coming up next week. We have David Gornosky coming on the show to talk to us, I believe, about mimetic theory. And then following that, we have Josh Denny, who is a comedian who was canceled, and apparently he had his own Food Network show, so that should be a lot of fun. Following that, we have a guy named Mark Ward. A couple months ago, we had a show about the Bible and where it came from and translations, and there was a lot of information in that episode that didn't quite jive with what I understood. And this guy used to be a King James only Christian, and so he would only read the King James. And he wrote a book about the uses and misuses of the King James. And so I want to talk to him about that and get through that and kind of, suss out what's true there, because I think that's a fascinating thing. Might not be for you. After that, we have Ciaran Warner coming on. He's a journalist who called the FBI and faked a threat against Mitch McConnell in order to get the FBI interested in helping him take down a cult called The Body. And so we're going to talk to him about his work, what he does, how he did it, etc. Very excited about that.
Yeah, very interesting.
Beyond that, I have nothing. Patreon.com/themad-ones. Jessica's on Twitter @SoupCanarchist. I'm @HamCarlos. If you want a t-shirt, a mug, or if you want to join the Black Tank Brigade, you can do that. wearethemadOnes.com/store. If you want to watch instead of listen, if you're listening right now, youtube.com/themad-ones every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Central, not Central, Eastern. Don't listen to the first thing I said. I was wrong. YouTube.com/themad-ones. We're also on Rockfin. We're on Odyssey. We're on all the podcatchers. So that's it. Oh, subscribe to our YouTube. We're currently at 700. Growing YouTube has been slower because most of our stuff is audio. And so most of our downloads come from audio. We're trying to grow YouTube. We're at 706 followers. That means we're less than 300 subscribers away from being able to monetize and get out there more. So share the show with your friends, subscribe, do what you can to help us out, because we want to do this more. We want to do bigger things. We want to be able to think of topics that we want to talk about and reach out to people who wouldn't talk to us now. So do that. Join us. Help us out. That's all I've got. You want to say anything nice and sweet to the people, Jessica? You want to wink at them?
Just turn off the TV and be good to each other.
Yeah. Read a book. Read a comic book.
Learn a book.
Learn a book. But beyond that, as always, you have a chance to be a light in the world, so go light it up.